Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Hello.
We're going to start the show by saying a few more names, but these names are extra special. They are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, Graham Mackay, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, still brilliant, Rocket Man 76, and my dog Skip, the pet of the Full Nels crew. They are our Patreon producers, they are our Full Nels crew, and we salute you for keeping the show alive. If you would like to also help keep the show alive, because I think it needs as much help as it can to live, then please go to patreon.com/TCGS and have a look, have a browse of the tiers we've got on the shelves. They're all sorts. You want a bonus show? You've got one. Yeah? You want to watch us talk over things live? You can also do that too. But if you want to join the elite, the Full Nels crew, then scroll down. Click that subscribe button. Let's keep this show rolling, shall we? Thank you so much for all your support, for those of you that do. And for those of you that don't, take a long, hard look at yourself. All right, okay. Please, should we get straight into the feedback, Matt?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Blimey.
I mean, everyone's sounding a bit like flat. This is a weird start to the show.
I was just thinking to myself, my dog Skip. We should call them their dog Skip, because he's the patron producer's dog, right?
Okay.
He's
do
not
that
our dog
next
Skip,
week,
is
yeah.
he? It's not your dog Skip. It's not my dog Skip. It's their dog Skip.
Their dog Skip.
Their dog Skip.
Oh, yeah, but if Little Britain, remember that?
Wow. I'm trying to forget it, Dave.
I think the whole country is
I'm thinking, let's change the show. Instead of like countless Office references, we'll do countless Little Britain quotes.
Oh, let's not do that.
That's what we need. That's the shot in the arm that we need. That's the...
Yeah, it is. It gets back on top. But the problem is, the person that put the name down for the Full Nels crew, that's the name they gave us, My Dog Skip, right?
No, I know.
So I can't say their dog Skip, because they'll go, well, no, actually, I asked for my dog Skip and I paid for this. So we can't change that, can we?
You might
We're
do us the
literally
breach of
taking the
contract.
dog away from our Patreon producer and giving it to a group of unknown people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's very fair.
You can technically do that. It's nothing to stop you.
Yeah, but...
Well, yeah, there are rules. You can't just dog nap, Sean.
No, we're giving it away. We're not stealing a dog. We're saying, look, we had this dog Skip and we don't really got any further use for him. We're giving him over to you guys.
They didn't give us the dog.
We're
still not sure who's actually paid this. Is it the dog or is it the person? Because it could be a wealthy dog.
It's the dog.
It could be a wealthy dog, yeah.
Well, let the dog decide then. Let the dog decide. What you do is you get the Full Nels crew on one side, us on the other, and then the original owner on a third side, apparently. And then you just see which one it goes to. Yeah? Come here, Skip. Come on. You know where he's coming. To your old mate Dave. Right, okay, let's get on to our feedback. Matt, what have we got?
We're going to start with a friend of the show, Colin Ross Wilson. Hello, friends. Hope you are really well.
Why do you say friend of the show, Colin Ross Wilson, through gritted teeth? What is that?
I was thinking...
I sensed the anger as you said that.
I was just reading out the name he called himself. I'm not commenting on that.
Well, we've already heard what trouble that gets us into, Matt. So
Good point.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what pun that is. Friend. Sure. Friend, sure. No, go on.
Hello, friends. I hope you're really well. I meant to send this last week, but I didn't. Please forgive me. However, with the delay, it means I can congratulate Dave for winning the E3 predictions rather than both Dave and the cheater, James. Well done, Dave.
Cheers,
to
mate.
my feedback.
Have you noticed as well, like, this is a reoccurring thing. Like, James cheats a lot at things.
All the time,
Do you
yeah.
remember-
Constant. It's just all the time.
Yeah.
that PhD.
Do you want me to give you another? Do you want me to give you another example?
No, I'm just saying,
Yes,
you're right. I cheat
When we
constantly.
did a quiz, and you were reading the answers in the chat.
Yeah.
When we did the quiz and you googled the answers,
Rubbish.
I mean, there were more quiz. Right, okay. That's not rubbish, is it?
It
That's
is
the truth.
rubbish.
Go
It's
on.
just... fuck off. Just go and get
We were
with
just
it.
checking the spelling.
James just fell down a well then. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
To my feedback, during the E3 presentations, your shows made them a lot more entertaining, so thank you for that. You would raid other channels. However, none of the channels knew what your name was or how to say it. Having these people squint their eyes, spell out the name wrongly, then having to ask what that means. By the time it is verified what TCGS code means and what it is, the streamers moved on to what they were doing on their streams. This is poor branding. Please change it back. Sick of it. Much love. Appreciate your pal Colin.
Who did we raid? Because I didn't see who we raided. Like, who did we
did a bunch of people, didn't we?
We did a bunch.
Well, and did you watch it afterwards? And were they genuinely going to
Well, no, that happens every time. Every time we're like, thank you, TCGS I hate it too. Not a day goes by where I don't like check the other owners of /TCGS on Twitch or Twitter or Instagram. Are they still?
Yeah,
no, they're still
that's
around.
the killer, isn't it?
It's the worst thing ever.
Was
I'm like, well, what can we do? It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but hang on. What difference does that make, whether it's got the co on the end or not? That's not the bit people seem to have problems with, though.
Yeah, no. It makes a big difference. If you see TCGS, it's like, okay, TCGS, but with the co added on the end, it's just a few too many letters to be able to go TCGS CO. Like, that's not either, is it, really? So, yeah. Well, Matt, are you even tempted to rebrand again, or is it once enough? What's the deal?
I mean,
Where's your head at?
I would love to change our name so they're matching across every platform in a way that makes sense. And not a day that goes.
Should we just rename the show? Just call it something else.
Go on, James.
Go on. What should we call it?
Come on, we're all sitting here. Come on, James.
I have no idea at the moment.
That's a bit,
no. You cannot come up with a suggestion like that and have nothing to back it up. So peer pressure now says that you have to. Peter pressure now says that you have to come up with a name for this podcast, like, now.
I'm just going to look at something and then just say what I see. I mean, it's
exactly
it's trash can radio. There you go.
Amazing.
All right, that's is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Trash can radio.
Yeah.
And then you expect to be it'd be all right if we were all from New York. Like, that would work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't really work.
Or we were 8 and we were naming our first radio station.
What got the trash can radio? No, go on. Have you got any more? Come on, just pick another one. Go on.
I don't know. I can't do this at the moment. I need to think about it. I mean, come on. How many weeks did we spend discussing the name of this show? Going through options. Well, okay, 4 days.
4 days.
But it was
It
was still quite an intense 4 days, though, wasn't it? Of votes and everything.
It was, yeah. It really was. Anyone else got any suggestions? Sean, you must have one.
To be honest, I was just waiting. I was hoping we could just keep asking James until he's just naming stuff around him. so we end up just
I was going to go for Daffodil Deluxe, but that's.
Oh, fuck yes.
Daffodil Deluxe?
That's amazing.
Oh, for that. That's a brilliant name for. That's brilliant. Daffodil Deluxe. Welcome to the
DD podcast.
DD podcast.
DD.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not the DD podcast. Also, that's definitely taken.
What, Daffodil Deluxe?
We'll think about it. Maybe a whole new rebranding is needed. And then what do we do? Do we start from episode 001 again?
Yeah, but this time we do 0001. Because we know you're going to get to 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, easy.
We don't do any rename the podcast. It was rename us as a group. That's what the TCGS thing was about. Anyway.
I still think this show's going to be really weird when we're all in our 70s. Do you know what I mean? And we're just going, I can't do this. When we're all effectively like James, is what I'm saying. It's going to be, it's going to be an interesting
also,
listen.
In our
Stay
70s,
subscribed.
We're not even going to be able to remember the office quotes. Like,
I guarantee I will be.
I can't
It'll be
believe
the one thing that I can remember.
When Richard Bront did that dance.
Which I can't do anymore without risk of injury. It'd be more weird when one of us dies.
All right, we've done this. This is bonus show material. We had a whole section on that on the bonus show.
We all know what happens when one of us dies.
We already agreed that we were just going to carry on and pretended like nothing had happened.
Absolutely. That. I mean, don't spoil it. But that's exactly what we agreed on. Right, okay, come on, next one.
Yeah, TCGS.reminders. A few friendly reminders. Dave once shat himself on the Midnight Resistance stream.
That's not true.
James has never breakdanced.
It's as true as me cheating on all the stuff, so, you know.
Well, hang on, James, but you have literally cheated on all the stuff.
No, so it's as true as that statement about Dave.
But it's not, though, is it?
I mean, it's not, because the thing is, James, the thing is that you cheating, I was the judge presiding over the trial with regards to you cheating.
It was rigged. It was totally rigged. It was.
Whereas the stuff about Dave shitting himself, I know I made that up. So
wow, I feel honoured that you guys have joined me on this. I thought you were going to legitimately try and carry on that lie, but that's fine. James, you actually fucking cheated, though, so let's not try and worm your way out of this. Right, okay, go
on. Next is James still has not breakdanced.
Not since, what was it, 2002?
Yeah.
You stopped?
Oh, yeah, 2002, yeah. That was,
yeah. Once you got regional champion, you were like, that's it, I've peaked.
Exactly. You're never going to reach that ever again. So it's just stop.
The local papers were like going, why don't you just keep going? You're amazing. And he was like, no, I don't want to be one of those guys that sort of withers away and has to retire on a down. So I've hit my peak now, regional champion.
Yeah.
That's as far as I wanted to go when I set out. When I first laid that cardboard down on the pavement. That's as far as I wanted to go, and you jacked it in. And I respect that, James. I respect that.
It was the right thing to do. Absolutely the right decision.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Next is Matt has likely never played a Sega game. Well, that's literally not true.
No, that one's not true.
Dave once claimed to have beaten Banjo-Kazooie 25 times.
Correct.
Okay.
Didn't we disprove that?
What did you want from me there? That's the truth. I did once claim
honesty?
to. What do you mean? That is honest. That's what I claimed to do 25 times. I completed Banjo-Kazooie when I was a kid.
Were you like noting these down each time you beat it? So you're like, this is the first one, this is the second one.
No, I had
scratches in the wall like a prison.
I know the number kept going up in my head. I know, I kept a running total. I didn't write it down or anything. So it probably wasn't even 25 times, but that's what I remember.
Go. Finally,
from
the
that
truth's
period.
out.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. There's the argument we had at the time when this come up on the show, right? I don't see that as an achievement. Like, I'm not coming to the table and going, look how good I am. I'm saying that's how many times I remember completing that game. Like, that's the number I had in my head. Whether I did it or not, I don't care. Like, it's not like I'm going, no, don't take that away from me, Matt. Don't you ever take that away from me the 25 times. Did
we clarify?
Not what's going on with me.
Did we clarify whether you 100%ed it each 25 times as well?
I wouldn't have 100%ed it 25 times, but for the majority of the times I would have.
Yeah, I did that 24 times.
It was piss easy doing it 100% it once you knew where everything was. It's a really straightforward game when you know everything about it. And I knew everything about it, baby.
James once changed his kid's birthday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did do that.
That is true, yeah.
Matt summoned on Ornstein and Smo. Yeah,
certainly did.
It's part of the game, so...
if we're all... Because it feels like we're backing each other up a little bit here, and... Right, whatever. But I also did that on my one run-through of Dark Souls. So,
Same.
like, whatever. I just didn't crush myself about it like Matt did.
Welcome to my brain.
I watched that the other day. Matt, I watched that the other day. I watched your Death and Success Ornstein and Smo video. And the bit where Ornstein and Smo die, you are literally just going, I can't see the point in ever playing this again. This is the worst feeling ever. And I was like, wow, it's like, that's part of the game. That's how you get through it the first time for the majority of people.
Let myself down.
No, you didn't. You absolutely
didn't. It was just
didn't,
the chat giving you abuse is all it was, Matt. It's
I think that's what it was. Yeah. People that have completed it like 8 times and, all that sort of thing. People that completed that game 25 times. And
using a dance mat.
Giving you shit. Yeah. Maybe this is the way forward. Instead of attacking each other, we attack the listeners and we come together as a team. What do you reckon? I like this feeling.
Yeah, like we all get on for once and we just tell all the listeners to go all the listeners just abuse us and we just tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, maybe that's the show.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the show going forward. Okay, we'll consider that. We'll consider it. Go on, was there any others?
Sean. Well, Sean is actually a good boy.
Oh, cheers.
Has he had any major Has anything major happened to Sean
Not really.
on the show?
Sean's very
done
careful.
Anything in 5 years.
Yeah. Have you had a period where... Oh, there was the whole thing that nearly blew up but died down about you nominating a 25-hour game after playing it for 6 hours for Game of the Year.
That wasn't really... That was just a poor tactical choice. It wasn't a...
It was, and you were quick to admit it. And that's where Matt went wrong with the what was it, Night in the Woods game. Because he was talking about the ending that he hadn't seen.
It was a very different time back then. And
it was.
Yeah. We've all grown and changed.
I didn't know someone would
then.
be checking that stuff.
Have you had like a week of like people getting on your back about it? You probably haven't, have you? You're the only one that survived it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're going to see.
You need to say some more stupid shit, Sean.
Go on.
Okay, Jet off of Gladiators. CD Projekt Red are rightly getting criticism for releasing a game that is unplayable on the base model console. This is because we talked about Cyberpunk last week. They're not the first, though. Back when GTA 5 launched on Xbox 360, it would only play on Elite and S models. I had the base version console, and it had crash errors, which meant I couldn't get through the first mission. It wasn't just me. Rockstar acknowledged it in the FAQs, but never got around to patching it as far as I can remember.
I wonder why.
I did not know this. I was going to say, because the S and the Elite didn't have a different spec, did they?
No, yeah, but the Elite and the base didn't have a different spec. It was exactly the same console. The Elite just came with like a 20 gig hard drive.
No, it's and
it had HDMI as well.
Yeah, it had HDMI. Yeah, that was the only other thing.
Oh, so maybe it was the output then that was.
It must have been some sort of compatibility issue rather than a spec issue. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure that I played that on the 360 though, like GTA 5.
Yeah, but you had an Elite. You didn't have a base 360.
Did I? I don't remember.
Yeah, there's no way you were buying a base 360. It gave like 300 megabytes worth of storage.
Because the Elite's different though. That's the one that came out much later.
The S was the black one, wasn't it? And
the S was the black one. The Elite was the one that
was the black one.
The Elite was the one that came out with the HDMI like later. Because there was the premium one and the regular one when they first came out, and I got the premium one because that was the one with the 20 gig hard drive.
Right. Okay. So I'm getting Elite and premium mixed up. Fucking hell, Xbox. Saw your naming out. It's almost as bad as Nintendo's the new 3DS that got discontinued not too long ago. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, all right.
But I believe you. I believe
maybe
you.
Maybe you're right. I need to look into that.
I'm sure it's true.
Yeah. I'm sure people will message in to let you know if that's not true next week. We'll find out.
Chris, we're getting rid of Chris's message. Howdy, lads. Just want to say a quick thanks to Sean for... Was that James?
No, it was me. I said howdy. What a nice way to say hello in a message. We've never had one of those before, have we?
No.
Well,
howdy, lads.
Howdy, lads. Just want to say a quick thanks to Sean for mentioning the updates to Control the other week. I started it a year ago and got thoroughly frustrated by the boss at the end of Chapter 6, so stopped playing. The invincible character / one-shot enemy mode meant I was able to get back to it, get through the boss encounter, and have since gone on to get the platinum, so thanks. The ashtray maze was a definite highlight that I would have otherwise never seen.
Oh, amazing.
And yeah, that bit he's talking about is amazing. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Definitely one of my moments of the year.
No spoilers, but so I've reached the ashtray maze once, but it's not interesting the first time, is it? It's like okay. Because I was like, oh my god, it's the bit that everyone talks about, and I was like, no, this can't be it. I must be missing something. So I sort of looked it up, and without spoiling anything, I found a guide that was like, if you've Googled this and you found this page because you've got there and you don't know why it's interesting, it's fine, don't worry about it. Come back later. But that's really cool. I'm glad.
That's so cool.
Chris
the music. it's just fantastic. That's it for feedback. You can go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Leave us feedback or messages or whatever you want.
Cool.
Abuse. Anything.
Not
we shouldn't joke about this because people actually will.
I know they will, but there's no stopping them regardless, is there?
No, true.
Indeed.
Right, James. News.
Okay, we can do some news. Sony's been on an acquisition.
We're going to do some. We're going to do some news.
Let's do some news.
We're going to do something that ends up in the news. Come on.
I thought I had a good opening then, and then you just ruined it again.
Sorry.
But yeah, Sony have been on an acquisition spree over the last week, pretty much. So they've acquired Housemarque, which is the 13th studio to join PlayStation Studios, and they're going to continue being run by their current management team, but with PlayStation Studios external. Do you want to hear what Herman Hurst has to say about it?
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
I said Helman Hurst. It's Herman Holst. It doesn't make sense.
All right. Well, we've got our episode titles, so thanks for joining us.
With about the mayonnaise.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. With a proven track record of creating original games that feature best-in-class gameplay, Housemarque is a highly accomplished studio, and we couldn't be more thrilled to officially welcome them to the PlayStation Studios family. I'm going to stop reading these, because they're pointless, aren't they? They always say exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I know, but it's quite funny to hear them sometimes, because sometimes you're just like, "What? Shut the fuck up!"
Well, you're going to like the next one. The next one's even better.
Go on.
So, also, this company called Nixus has joined as well. They've joined the PlayStation Studios Technology, Creative and Services Group, which focuses on technical and development capabilities. And so, do you want to hear from Herman again? What he's got to say?
Well, obviously, yeah.
I highly respect Nixus and am excited for this very experienced team to become part of the world-class development community at SIE. They have a passion for improving games and for delivering the best possible experience for gamers. Nixus will be a strong asset for everyone across PlayStation Studios, helping our teams focus on their most important goal, which is to create unique PlayStation content at the best possible quality. It's awful, isn't it? It's just so
nothing, isn't it? Sony are legitimately terrible.
They're really bad at it. I know. It's like, at least when Phil Spencer says it, it sounds a little bit sincere. Whereas this
well, it sounds human.
Exactly,
it sounds like a human said it and not a robot. We have acquired. I have a lot of respect for them. It's like, mate.
It's dreadful.
It's one of those statements where it's like, imagine them saying anything but that. Like, I don't respect them all that much, but
it's all right.
They've got a lot to prove, right? But if they play their cards right, then we'll keep them around and we won't shut them down and take their technology. That's the way I'm looking at this acquisition.
They've promised the next game won't be shit like all the others were. They've told me. They're ready.
It's pretty,
we acquired Housemarque because we wanted them to make Returnal a little bit easier, and they seem to be resistant to fucking doing that. So,
just to check, am I going mental? Because I thought we talked about Housemarque getting acquired by Sony quite recently. Was that a rumour?
No, that was... I was thinking that, because when I heard the news, I was like, didn't they acquire them like 2 months ago? But I don't even think it was a rumour. I think it was someone else that they acquired. Okay. But they were a little... I remember them acquiring someone and everyone going, I thought they already owned them.
There was rumours.
Who was it, Matt?
There was strong rumours of this happening, I think.
Was there strong rumours? Because I remember thinking, like, for Housemarque, like, it's just really good news because, as a studio that has not had many, like, big hits, this must be, like, a huge sigh of relief for them.
Yeah, it's
to get brought in-house. Yeah.
I'll be fascinated to see how... I mean, Returnal feels expensive. Yeah. I'd say for that game type, knowing, it was going in and aiming for an audience that is a very specific audience, right? It seemed expensive for that sort of game. Because when you're looking for an audience that is that specific, obviously the budget is usually scaled back, and that's why we haven't seen a game like that with that level of polish and visually and stuff like that. I think it's the right thing to do, obviously, because Housemarque are absolutely fantastic, and they seem to be floating towards Sony's consoles anyway. So it makes total sense. And I do think Sony need to start making some acquisitions, because they've shut down a few studios recently. And obviously, if they want to maintain this sort of premium price point for their games, then they need to be releasing them, semi-regularly, more regularly than they are now, which, don't get me wrong, is understandable because it's the start of the generation. So there is going to be gaps between games. But I think it's a good sign that Sony want to go out there, but I think they needed to do that anyway, really. This other studio, it sounds like they're going to be positioned to be, rather than producing games, to be jumping from studios to studio and helping tidy things up and stuff.
Apparently,
so that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, apparently they're connected particularly with like PC ports and things like that as well. So this is maybe they'll be, because Sony are more interested in doing that now.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah. And I've got a lot of respect for them. To be quite honest with you, I don't know about Sony, but I've got a lot of respect for them.
I mean, it's understandable because they have a passion for improving games and for delivering the best possible experience for gamers. So it's good.
They do. And I appreciate, as a gamer, I appreciate that. Yeah. So win-win. Is what I say.
It's pretty bad hearing these quotes in press releases. I mean, like, name any press release, like the quotes are really exciting. But do you remember that E3 when Sean Layden did it on stage? It was like, it's
exactly what I'm thinking of, Matt. It's exactly what's going through my head. Yeah,
third-party partners.
Yeah. We're so delighted that our third-party partners are producing great content for our fans. Shut up! Get off the fucking stage and show the game!
So like a human.
Just really bad, isn't it?
Sean Layden.
They need to get some better writers for that. So I suppose, like, how do you make it more frothy? That's the question, isn't it? We all want a bit of froth with these ridiculous press releases.
But they've got to think about their audience. Their audience didn't want to hear those kind of like corporate speech.
Well, this is it. Like, a lot of people would say that these quotes and stuff that come out around this, well, they're not for us, are they? They're for investors and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you're an investor. You still probably look at that and go, oh, fucking hell, mate, chill out. You know what I mean? Put on a Hawaiian shirt and say, oh, mate, Housemarque makes some fucking brilliant games, yeah? So that's why we bought them, because we want to continue making wicked games, you know what I mean? Instead, it's divide the partners into you just fucking chuck it in the bin.
Yeah, if Microsoft and Phil Spencer was announcing this, Phil Spencer would be doing it with a backwards baseball cap, possibly doing like a ollie on a skateboard, smoking a doob.
It's true, and also he'd have all stuff in the background as well. You know, to like people be looking at, to try and figure out, what the next move is. And all that
they should hand this over to their like characters that they own. That'd be good. Like if Mario came out and announced an acquisition of of what was it? Who did they buy recently? The team that made Luigi's Mansion 3. Hello, I really enjoyed playing on Luigi's Mansion 3.
Do you know, Dave, when you said the characters they own, for some reason I just thought you meant Major Nelson. I thought
get Major Nelson to come out and he's got to do it like off the cuff though. They've just got to literally sitting down in a room to say, Major, can you come over a second? Yeah, I'll come over here. Sit down in that chair. Right, Twitch is on. You're live streaming now. Just announce this. And just see what comes out of him.
I just get him to be like, wear your green suit and just come down.
He has everything written for him. But then maybe I don't know. Maybe
that's what makes it so interesting.
Maybe he's read like enough, scripted Major Nelson stuff that now he can fully inhabit the character.
Either that, or we managed to get every single gaming studio and developer and everyone to agree that all announcements get funneled through James Farley, and you're only allowed to send them through 5 minutes before we start recording this show. How good would that be? That would be good, wouldn't it?
It would.
Just hearing James struggle. Oh, I might have to do that next week. Send you an announcement, mate. And you have to try and read it out first time. Okay, right. Maybe my brain's ticking away now. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay. The next story is that indies don't like Sony. Basically, there's been a lot of criticism this week. It started off with it's Neon Doctrine. They're a publisher, right? Is that they're like an indie game publisher, I think?
I think so, yeah.
So their co-founder, Ian Garner, posted a Twitter thread about what he called Platform X, and which said he was not going to identify, but then he said, the operator of a very successful console and does not have Game Pass. So I think, everyone figured it out. Everyone figured it out pretty quickly.
What did he? They rhyme with pony. And their latest console is fucking massive. And I don't mean like really popular, although it is. I mean it's fucking huge. Go on.
I think, and if you're listening to this and thinking, why couldn't it be Nintendo? He specifically mentions, not to jump ahead, but he specifically mentions not being able to control launch discounts.
Yeah.
Which obviously everyone, if you look at the Switch eShop, like every indie game has a launch discount, so that ruled them out.
I'll tell you what, the eShop is a right mess though, isn't it now?
It's full of shit, isn't it?
It is, it's terrible. Like, it's really terrible. It's like App Store level bad of just the amount of rubbish that's on there. I'm assuming it's rubbish.
When you go on it, let's talk about that for a sec. So when you go on the eStore on your Switch, James, Like, what segments are you going to? Like, where do you head first?
I usually go for new releases, to see what there is.
Oh, so new releases is literally everything that comes out, right? Yeah, that is completely useless.
Yeah,
and then you go to, like, say, the charts, the top 10.
You go to top 10 or Discover, I think is the other one, which is not so bad because then sometimes you get stuff that may be of interest to you. But it's right. Okay, two questions. The first being the top 10. Is that just like Mario Kart 8? Mario Odyssey, yes.
Are they all Animal Crossing?
It's mostly things
like that. It's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Number two, the Discovery thing, is that an algorithm or is everyone seeing the same shit in there?
I think it's an algorithm, but I'm not sure. I mean, I actually know this is Nintendo, so no, it's not an algorithm.
Test that.
I think everyone gets the same thing. I mean, we can have a look now. I think we should.
Wouldn't it be wicked if they had like a Discover Weekly like they do at
See, that would be really good. But then, I mean, Steam tries to do that, and it's usually pretty wide of the mark, I find.
Is it?
Or it's like recommending me things that it's like, yeah, I'm playing that on Game Pass, mate. I'm not.
Fortnite. Come on, Sean, play. Download Oh, you can't get that here. Here's a link to the Epic Store.
There's just like, is anyone, when you turn your Switch on, it has the news stuff.
Yeah.
Is anyone else seeing that horsing around thing?
No, I've not played on the Switch for a long time.
I've followed everything on there, but
This might be because of my American account, but literally every time I turn it on, it's literally just a photograph of a horse wearing a little pink Stetson hat.
I think I have seen this, yes.
And it just says horsing around in just like a really basic font. And it's just here's a selection of like games with horses in them, which includes
that's right.
Stardew Valley, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Wargroove. So I don't really.
That's odd.
Know what they're going for.
They got horses in them though. Why wouldn't you put Breath of the Wild #1 there?
It's Breath of the Wild is in there, but it's at the bottom of the list.
Good. Well, it should be at the top because horses are quite essential in that game.
Yeah. Do you know what else? This is going off the target a bit, right? But do you know what also annoys me with the Switch?
The target. Go on.
Right. You know how if you've got like Nintendo Online or whatever, it's got like, the icons along the bottom. It has like, news, eShop and stuff like that. The one on the far left is the Nintendo Online one. And they always do it so that there's like saying that there's news on there. And you like click on it,
little icon,
and there's nothing, and it takes ages to go through it as well because it has to like sign in and everything. You go in there, there's nothing there, but then it comes up nearly every day. And for somebody like me who hates having notifications like unread, it's really irritating. I find it really irritating.
Yeah, it's the fucking worst. I've just shared I just posted that picture in our WhatsApp.
It's pretty good.
The horsing around one.
Yeah.
It's great.
Let's have a look. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Horsing around. That's an episode.
Are we able to put that as our podcast? No, we shouldn't, should we?
No.
It doesn't say it's copyrighted, and to be fair, whoever made it clearly didn't spend a huge amount of time. Well, maybe that photograph was specifically commissioned for this. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they had to chase a horse around and try and get him to put that hat on.
That's true. That's not an easy shot to get.
No, it is not an easy.
That's a 5-day shoot. That is.
Do you want to hear a bit more about Platform X?
Because you've got to get the horse to trust you first. That's a whole.
Yeah, you've
got to find the hat.
If I remember correctly, you need to jump on its back and then sort of just wave your arms around and just try and stay on it until it chills the fuck out. That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how video games have taught me. Yeah, just hit the right buttons at the right time, otherwise you fall on your ass and lose the horse.
So, is anyone on the eShop now? Because I'm looking at the Discover page. Am I the only one?
Has anyone else got a Switch near him?
I can get mine's within.
I'll go and get mine. You're reading the news. Go on, carry on with the main news story. I'll go and get mine.
All right. Do you want to hear more about Project X? Platform X then, yeah?
Yes, please.
Yes, okay. Please.
So anyway, according to Garner, he says, wish lists have no effect, so all your personal marketing means nothing to Platform X. All that matters is their evaluation. How is this evaluation done? I don't know. They don't share that, nor will they share the value they ascribe to my game. And then he also criticised how there was like no clarity on how you're supposed to get like an account manager, which apparently you need this if you're going to submit trailers and stuff. And the ability to control launch discounts was the other thing that Shaw mentioned. And it costs $25,000 minimum to get your game featured on the storefront as well. But then I've heard also that's the same for Nintendo and Microsoft as well, though. They also charge
$20,000 to get it on there.
But then, so he says, in conclusion, Platform X is super successful and awesome hardware, but their back end and process are straight out of the early aughts. Garner said, I have no idea how to succeed on this platform and they won't tell me. Even if I do succeed, they may screw me anyway. And then a load of other developers also agreed, saying that other problems were like email inquiries often take months to be replied to, and there's no analytics not shared with developers either, so nobody really knows how things are performing properly either. And then, Hypnospace Outlaw developer, this is Jay Tholin. Do you want to hear what he said? He was upfront about it. He said, "Yeah, PlayStation sucks for indie devs. We've sold like trash on there compared to other big consoles. Also, we make more sales on itch alone than we do on PlayStation, I'm pretty sure." So, yeah, then it sounds like they're not doing a very good job of keeping people on board.
No, well, it's clearly their focus is not on indie games anymore. No. I mean, it was at the start of the PS4 era.
Briefly. It was on the PS4, but also the Vita.
It dropped down pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it felt like early PS4 days. It was the place to play indie stuff apart from Steve and Itch. Steven and Itch. Apart from Steve and Itch. I mean, where else can you play indie games? PS4.
There must just not be enough money in it for them. Like, we know that actually having a strong indie scene on your console is quite important for us anyway. I mean, for gamers like us, it's quite important because you want to be able to have a console underneath your TV that can run the latest indie games because they're good and we enjoy them.
Especially now,
because Sony, I guess they're not after that market.
Especially now because there's like these gaps as well between releases all the time. And on Switch, I mostly play indie games. I mean, apart from bad Mario 3D platformers, that's the only other games I really play are those. It's
you playing a game is not a mark of quality, though, is it?
Rubbish.
Let's face it, right? I've got the Discover Weekly, right? Why do I keep calling it that?
Hang on, I'm going to get mine.
Right, I've got the Discover section. Well, he's gone to get his, has he?
He's gone to get his.
I thought we'd agreed. Okay. Right, so the first one I've got on there, Game of the Day, is Wargroove.
Yeah, same.
And then to the right of it is Hitman Cloud version.
Which is another Game of the Day. So apparently there's two games of the day.
Okay, so maybe it's just the Game of the Days.
No, I've got different stuff. Is this Discover, yeah? Is this the one you're looking at? I've got Mario Golf.
Yep.
Then I've got Fuser.
Right, okay.
Mix the hits.
Okay, yeah, so I've got those, but what's your Game of the Day?
Oh, Game of the Day. What is that?
At the top.
No, that's Mario Golf.
Okay.
No way.
Maybe you unsubscribe to Game of the Day or something then.
Oh, hang on. Are you looking in the eShop or in the news?
eShop.
eShop.
Yeah, it's Mario Golf. Weird.
And mine's Game of the Day, Hitman and Wargroove, and then Mario Golf, Super Rush, Fuser, Tony Hawk's, Monster Hunter, Doki plus Doki.
Dave and I are the same type of gamer, apparently.
Yep. So it's not algorithms then, it's just what's on there.
Yeah, and James hasn't loaded properly, I guess.
I've got a lot of anime games on here as well. I don't know what that's about.
There's a few doing the rounds.
Yeah, but when I've also got a lot of anime games on mine, James, that that it's not catered just for you, is it? Okay.
But, I mean, just to illustrate the problem with the eShop, so if you go to the recent releases bit, your current three most recent releases are My Little Fruit Juice Booth, Rubik's Roller, and Super Archer.
Yeah.
And they're all less than $5, which is not necessarily any sort of mark of quality, but it does just feel like there's a lot of these very, very cheap and very rubbish.
These are all
you
games.
Like a snob now.
No, but these are all games that are like, when the App Store was first launched on iPhone, it's like that. It feels like it's that market. When when you had to pay for stuff, rather than everything being free to play.
People are just churning stuff out.
Some of the titles of these games are brilliant though. New York Mysteries, Secrets of the Mafia. That's got a free demo if you want to try that out.
Dragon Question.
I apologise if
I just saw Dragon Question. Fucking hell.
Dragon Question.
Dragon Question.
Food Truck Arena is another one.
Yeah, I'd probably play that.
What's that? Kicker? What is that?
What? Oh, Kikorino World.
Kikorino World.
Yeah, Kikorino World. Yeah.
Will it? I bet it's got the worst music. Hold on.
Should we go on to the news story?
Hold on.
It's pretty good, Dave.
Yeah.
Fair play. That is some of the best video game music I think I've ever heard. So, I might just buy it just for the soundtrack.
Yeah, mate.
Can I get the soundtrack on vinyl? Right, yeah, sorry, we should continue with the news. Sorry about that tangent.
Yeah, so people aren't happy anyway. PlayStation sucks for indie devs, apparently. So, yeah, it's not very good.
No, okay.
Just a shame, yeah, like when it felt like at one point this was something they were specifically going out of their way to curate, and it did, like, it's one of the reasons I stopped using the PS4 as much, and especially now, with an Xbox, a Game Pass on it. Like, if there was still, like, exclusive stuff, like indie stuff coming to the PS4, I would still be turning it on, but there isn't, and I'm not.
Well, so. it was big on Vita though, wasn't it, as well? Like, Vita was like a big platform for indie stuff, and then
because when the Switch came out,
they got
loads of games were coming out there. Everyone's like, "Oh man, you got to get this on Switch! It's amazing!" And I remember it was about 3 or 4 months into the Switch's life. I turned my Vita on. And I was like, "Oh, these are all the games everyone's raving about the Switch versions, and they're all cheaper on Vita. They're all but it was just at that point everyone had sort of wandered off from the Vita. God love it.
Certainly have.
It was a great console. It's a shame.
It was alright.
Anyway, do you want some more bad Sony news?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, so the Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut is happening, and it's coming out in August on PS4 and PS5. I mean, what it is it's got the content from the original release, and then a new chapter, which is on Tsushima's neighbouring island of Iki. And so that's going to have like new characters, environments, and stories and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But the thing is that it's all going to cost like a whole bunch of more money, which is kind of rubbish. And like even if you have like the which is the PS4 version, then you basically have to spend it's like $30 so that you get like to upgrade it to like the PS5
20.
version. No, 20. It's 29.
20.
No, it says here it will cost.
Oh, is it really?
Because there's 2 fees, isn't there? There's one fee to get the new.
I apologise for that. I got that price from Player One podcast just before we started recording.
First mistake.
They announced the $20. So yeah, I've learnt my lesson.
So it's basically it's a tenner for the upgrade and 20 for the new content, or 30 for both.
Yeah,
well, maybe that's what they said.
Which is shit because like. Because, I could see the argument if people were saying, but they've added loads of stuff. Obviously, there's work involved in doing that. Blah, 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 fine. But to then also add an extra fee just for the next gen upgrade, I don't know.
Well, the next gen upgrade, is it for the actual, if I was to buy it for the PS5, is it going to be released at 70?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yes.
Well, $70.
$70.
So, yeah.
Okay.
James,
do you want to know what it's got?
Read it from the bit where it says while, because it's all just, it sounds so needlessly complicated. It isn't, but...
All right, because I've got to open the story now, Matt, which is a bit annoying.
Okay, no, don't worry about it. But obviously there's numerous different upgrades and all sorts of stuff. It's just... Well,
no, it's... Okay, so what it's got... No, because when I do this, I cut bits out of it. I don't just read the story. I cut the bits that I think are necessary.
It's okay, don't worry about it.
So it's going to. So the PS5 version has got haptic feedback and adaptive triggers and that kind of stuff. 3D audio, improved load times, 4K resolution, frame rates targeting 60 frames per second, lip sync, and all that kind of stuff. But so what it is it's $20 if you want to upgrade from the original version to the director's cut on PS4, or $29 if you want to do it from the PS4 version to the PS5 version. But you can also purchase the PS4 Director's Cut and then later upgrade it to the PS5 version for a further $10. So it's like, basically it's $30 if you want to do it.
It's like, at least, if you're going to... Like, if it's... Okay, so $20 for the Director's Cut and then a tenner for the generational upgrade. At least make it $25 for both. Yeah. At least, like, incorporate some sort of saving there. But I don't know.
If I've got the PS4 disc and I put it in the PS5, I can upgrade it
for $30
and continue to use the PS4 disc.
No, you can upgrade it to the PS5 version, or you can upgrade it to the PS4 version Director's Cut.
Or both.
Right. But if I want to upgrade it to the PS5 version, I'm playing the PS5 from then on. I'm playing the PS5 version by inserting the PS4 disc.
Presumably, yeah, but it's downloading the PS5 version.
I can't presume this stuff. Yeah,
I was going to say, because on the one hand, I was going to say, but there's a precedent for this, isn't there? But there isn't really, because everyone's just sort of doing whatever they want, as far as I can tell.
Sony a renegade with this stuff, James. You know
how did it work with Miles Morales? Because that was the same, wasn't it? Like, it was weird.
Because wasn't that you pay once to upgrade and then you just have a digital copy?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So maybe
that's what it was.
I'm just saying, maybe this is the same, but we don't know.
No
you would
way.
think with them both being, not first party, but you know what I mean. You would think that would still be the case, but then as you say,
I wouldn't,
wouldn't count on it.
So
because even if you do that, they're still getting 30 quid off you. Like even if you like pass the disc on to somebody.
Maybe they could actually, because I assume, because that's different, because that was you buying the standalone DLC, then upgrading is like going back to upgrade for the full Spider-Man game. So with this one, they're not selling the DLC standalone on disc, are they?
That's true.
Just as the director's cut.
So that's the difference. So maybe they will do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just it's messed up, though, isn't it? The whole thing's messed up. It really is.
The other weird thing about this is that I remember when the PS5 came out, everyone was going, holy shit, put your PS4 copy of Ghost of Tsushima in, because it looks and runs incredible on the PS5.
Yeah.
Like, there was already a step up there. And the loading times were already amazing on the PS4, never mind the PS5. So, I don't know.
I'd like to play the new stuff, because I really enjoyed the game, but I'm not paying 30 quid to do so. I don't know.
I mean, smart delivery. It's a good idea, man. The games that use it are fucking brilliant at that. So you realise now, and it's, again, I say this every time, it's only going to worry you. You're only going to worry about this for about 2 or 3 years, but that transition just fills you with so much more confidence when you're buying a game on the Xbox.
But then on PlayStation, there's 2 to 3 years of paying 20 or 30 quid for the PS5 version of God of War or whatever. I mean, I know the Last of Us 2 update was free, which is nice. But
there's also when I say you don't get this stuff when you buy games on Xbox, but of course there are no
exceptions.
Xbox games to buy.
But there's also the other thing that Sony have messed up with this as well, which is, I mean, I know that you're getting this stuff. I mean, you're not getting this stuff for free because you're paying for PlayStation Plus. But there's all that stuff whereby, like, if you get Final Fantasy VII, like for example, on PlayStation Plus, then you don't get the upgrade or whatever on it because you've got the PlayStation Plus version and not like a retail copy or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get that that's like, oh, this is like a freebie game or whatever, but it's not, is it? You're paying for PlayStation Plus as well, and it just confuses things.
Fuck all for it.
And then meanwhile, if you look at something like Descenders, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but I know Matt really loved it. Like, they just put out enhanced Series S and X version of that, and it applies to the Game Pass version, and it's free. And fuck it, why not? Like that. That's an example of a game where they've talked openly before about the fact that, like, it being on Game Pass has been great for them, and now they're just doing this upgrade for free as well. And it's like, that is just a way you can operate if you want to. Like, the buzz that it creates just doing a free update, it's like, seems to be sufficient enough in some cases. So then you look at examples like this, it just seems really scummy by comparison.
It just seems mean, doesn't it? It's just, I don't know.
It seems different. It seems like, it's obviously incredibly different.
It seems very Nintendo, if anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, Nintendo have been doing this for years.
They probably have learned from Nintendo. Like, well, Nintendo do this, pure their mind, and enough people will do this and not kick up a fuss, so might as well. And they'll keep doing this until people said, well, hang on.
They probably look at it as being like the percentage of people that kick up a fuss is nothing compared with how many people we have that actually own these machines. So who cares? It's
and again,
it's the old cash versus goodwill balance, isn't it? And ultimately, Sony aren't too fussed about goodwill at the moment because they're still on top, as we've been saying for a while. And various stories that have come out about things they've decided to do or not do.
See,
they're just not as worried about upsetting people.
And this is what is really annoying, isn't it? Because Sony hubris, I would say, is worse than Microsoft hubris in the sense that it's like they do really horrible stuff like this. When Microsoft are on top, you get stuff like Kinect, which is funny. Whereas,
because at least, like, the stupid things Microsoft did when they were on top was at least, like, they were wrong, but someone definitely thought this was a cool and good idea.
Yeah.
Whereas Sony being on top feels a bit more like, it doesn't really matter, does it? If people don't like it, fuck them.
Suck up the cash from their wallets.
And I mean, Nintendo just sort of does both, so, whatever.
And people are desperate for games on the PS5, so they're like, it's even less likely that people will moan and kick off. And, I don't bemoan them charging money for a director's cut. That's obviously totally legit. They've created new stuff, that's fine. It's just already upgrade this and 20 quid that and another 10 on top if you want the PS5 version. It's like, come on, mate. But I get it, I'm
just thinking, like, which of the three is the worst when it comes to the hubris, like, the funniest? And I think it's probably Nintendo, though. Because Nintendo, we have Wii Music, like at the and stuff like that going on. It was amazing.
I like to think of that as just a very strange period in their lifetime, because they never went that far off the rails before, but I think they got carried away with the success of the Wii.
It was all funny. It was like anything will sell on this thing.
That's where they lost it. Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird period for Nintendo. I don't know if we'll be back there again.
Yeah. Okay, next story is that Xbox and Kojima apparently are in talks for a publishing deal. And this is
Sorry, James, just before you carry on, Dave, Nintendo will definitely have another period like that. They'll have like successful console, and then they'll go to the head, slightly less. It will happen again, of course. I can't see them.
Go on, why'd you say that?
Because I can't see them just forgetting that mad stuff which they've done in the past. There will be periods where they definitely have ultra success with one thing and they're like less lean to a little bit further.
I'm not so sure, because they've only really done that once, right?
No, Matt. I mean, look, I agree with Matt on this, because that is why we come up with the Ring Fit Plus, because that's the kind of thing that like they do when they're on like peak.
But they didn't. We made that up. That wasn't real.
Exactly. Exactly. But it was believable. It was believable.
Then I thought, but it didn't happen though, James.
Yes, but exactly, that's my point though. It was believable because Nintendo they get very hubristic with this stuff, and that was a good example.
That counts, considering it wasn't actually real though, James.
Sure, no. I don't think you can say that's why Ring Fit Plus was believable, but it didn't happen though, James.
I know exactly, but you believed it.
They do weird stuff, but I can't see them like. Well, right, okay. Let me make this clear. Nintendo have been around for a long time, right? The Wii come out, it was a monumental success. It was huge, right? It was one of those cultural phenomenons. So, when they break through to mainstream and it sold ridiculous amount of units, right? But then they continue to go after that market. They continued to, and then it took them a long time to realise, it was a fad. It's not us breaking through to the mainstream and staying there. It was a fad. It was loom bands. Do you know what I mean? and then they scaled it back, certainly for the Switch. They tried to a little bit, but tried to cling on a little bit with the Wii U. But with the Switch, they did scale it back and say, let's focus on gaming, right? And that's what they did. I can't see them going off on a tangent like that again. I genuinely can't. Whereas I can see Microsoft releasing HoloLens in a similar fashion to Kinect. And we're already seeing a second run of Sony reaching the top and taking the piss. You know what I mean? I can see that returning. I can't see Nintendo falling down that hole again. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
When we see the next vitality sensor, we'll know. That's what's going.
So I feel like where we're at. They did. I feel like where we're at with Nintendo now is this is the phase where they would be releasing all that stupid stuff, but they've just gone. Well, let's just not release anything.
Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll take out all the stuff that was like quite embarrassing last time, and then someone's gone, yeah, but that means we'll only have about 2 games a year, and they've gone, yeah, fine.
They've made attempts at that though. You look at Labo. They've made attempts at that. But they seem to be very much more scaled back, sort of testing ideas rather than this is our direction now.
Yeah.
If all they brought out was Labo like this year, then you would go, Nintendo are going down that path again, aren't they? but they seem to have dropped the whole idea of Labo.
They're probably just looking and just saying, look how many games we got on the eShop. We don't need to do anything. I mean, look, we've got a promo here with a horse with a hat on. It's like everything's fine.
No, doing our best. The reason, right, is because they're like, well, we don't need to do anything else. We're selling Amiibo for 30 quid that unlocks something in game.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely should be in the game by default. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, just quickly on Labo. Like, it's fucking hard to get hold of now. Did you know?
Is it really?
Well, yeah, because
I grow on trees.
Well, yeah, because I got it out again the other day, and Isaac's now at a point where I can make Labo stuff with him without him trashing it immediately. It takes him about an hour or so, and then he trashes it. And yeah, so I was like, oh, fuck it. Like, he'd love the vehicle one. And, like, not only can you not find it anywhere, but, like, it was, like, 25 quid everywhere before it disappeared. So
it was.
Fuck's sake. So I really wish I'd just picked that up just when it was cheap and then just stored it for a couple of years, but hey ho. I think you can get obviously there are people that will do the cardboard, copies of it because not that hard to copy.
Is that what we're going to see? We're going to see some
bootleg Labo.
Bootleg Labo. No, I can get the robot one delivered for £38 by Wednesday, and the vehicle one delivered by Tuesday.
How much though?
For £43.
Where's that from?
Quite pricey, isn't it? Amazon.com. Have you heard of
Amazon.com?
Dave,
yeah.
Let me write that down. Hang on.
Labo or Libo?
Lobo.
There's a lot of Libo going around right now.
Yeah, you have to wait a week for it, but it does come free delivery by Prime. Maybe they're just making them to order now.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Someone get the printer out. I'll get the craft knife.
There's one person sitting next to the printer and he's loading up the PDF and hitting print. Going, I've done it the A0 size. Fuck. It's already going now. We'll just put that straight in the bin. The variety pack is £73 at the moment on there.
I mean, it's not worth that, is it?
But there's only 3 left in stock, though, Sean. Better get a move on, boy.
Yeah, no, that's the one I've got. I've exhausted that now.
I exhausted that the day I bought it home.
I've got the robot kit, but Isaac's too young for it.
We're supposed to be talking about Kojima and Xbox working together.
Yeah, anyway, there's been talks between Xbox and Hideo Kojima. VentureBeat has said that they're exploring these possibilities that are provided by Microsoft Cloud technology. And what they've done is they produced a letter of intent to work together, but there's no contract yet, obviously.
Love to see that letter.
Yeah.
Hello,
it's basically says we're going to work together.
Promise I will.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
You're great. Promise.
But last week we talked about it was Kim Swift being hired.
I owe you one game, Hideo Kojima. He sent that to Phil Spencer. Got he put in his little jar. Go on. Sorry, James. Just that thought chuckled me. Go on.
Okay. So Kim Swift was
hired.
You
said that thought chuckled you.
I did, yeah. What was that?
That thought chuckled me.
It made me chuckle. That's what I was going for. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
wonderful.
there in my head at the moment. Go on. It's been a really weird few weeks, Matt. I ain't going to lie to you. Go on.
That kind of reminds me of the time I was in camp in year 6, and we were all allowed to ring our parents. Everyone queued outside like the phone box, and my parents probably said, "Oh, what have you had for dinner?" And I said, "Oh, for supper I had," and everyone laughed outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I've never said the word supper in my life. Why did I say for supper?" And then after that I was bullied a lot. So.
You were the supper kid.
Yeah, supper boy. Oh, supper boy.
Supper boy. Supper boy there.
Oh, supper boy.
God. And on this podcast from now on as well. Wow, that's followed you around for a long time.
Oh, supper boy.
God.
So, this is the third time I've said this now. Last week we talked about Kim Swift being hired because of her experience with cloud gaming, and apparently that's part of this. It's to do with Kojima and whatever cloud technology they're going to use. And
look, if they're going to fuck around with new technology, let's see what Kojima can do with it. I'm all game for that. I'm not Kojima's biggest fan, really. I've liked a few of his games or whatever, but I'm not, I don't get super pumped when he announces a new game. However, I would like to see sort of weird shit that you can do with new technology, for sure. Even though this technology has technically been around since the launch of the Xbox One, apparently. It'd be interesting to see how he brings in this cloud stuff.
Crackdown 4?
Maybe
he's working
kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
I do get ridiculously excited when he announces a new game. And it kind of blows my mind that people don't get excited when he announces a new game. Because, say what you want about him. He does some mad out there stuff, and I've said countless times in the past, I think we're truly lucky to have such a visionary in the industry, because like it or don't like him, he's done some crazy experiences out there, and
but that doesn't mean to me that's not what I value. I value visionary things, but when you look at the visionary stuff he's done, it's what would you put in that category for him? I would say reading your memory cards. Okay, that was cool. That was cool. I ain't going to belittle that. That was cool for the time. But, his past few games, what's the visionary stuff that he's done?
He's had a better hit rate than Peter Molyneux.
For sure.
It's a low bar.
But
No, case closed. That's the end of conversation. Yeah, done.
That's not exactly top of the. Don't put him top of the league, does it?
I just think, he does some very special stuff. That I think when I hear about a Kojima game, I'm instantly more excited because I know there'll be a bit more thought and stuff into it. Fucking hell, why's my phone on loud? I was probably LED playing on the game. Yes. Anyway, but. Unlike you, Dave, I was kind of less excited about this. When I read it, thought, oh, wow, okay, it's Kojima on Xbox. This is exciting. But when they said about the cloud stuff, I'm like, well, I don't.
Why?
Because I don't want. Kojima's coming to Xbox. Fantastic. What's this going to be? Oh, he's just basically doing like a little kind of thing that showcases some cloud technology. Yeah. I kind of made me think.
I don't know if it's necessarily that, is it?
Well, no, and we don't know anything at the moment. It's just obviously incredibly early days, and maybe the cloud stuff's just one part of whatever he's trying to build or wants to build. But I kind of read that, I was like, oh, he's here, Kojima's here to do a cloud thing.
But but am I not right in thinking that the best use of cloud technology in the sense of working with Xbox and Microsoft has been what they did with Microsoft Flight Simulator? Because that pulls from cloud technology to generate the world, right?
It does, yeah, and bring in weather systems and all sorts. And it's incredibly impressive technology.
Fucking nuts. So if he can incorporate something similar into a more, traditional video game, that could be brilliant. Like, I'm not expecting, it's raining outside, it's raining in the game as well, who cares? But, like, that's the point of bringing someone like him in, that he'll have an idea that I would have never thought of.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it's cool he's going to be there, but when I read that, I was like, just the cloud stuff kind of made me think, oh, okay, fine. It's not like we've got a new Kojima exclusive, and like, okay, here we go. This is exciting, but who knows? I think you're right in exciting technology with someone I think is a visionary. That's exciting. Seeing someone who hopefully will truly try and push things even further with this new emerging technology.
I guess the question I've got for you then, Matt, do you see cloud gaming as a or the cloud technology that they've spoken about? Do you see that as a gimmick?
No, I mean, it's probably undoubtedly the future, but right now I'm like, well, because I can't really see how that's truly going to link in and create new incredible gameplay experiences. I'm sure it will, and obviously I've got a tiny brain. But when I read that, it just made me think, oh, someone's here to just do a motion, like a waggle game. I know it's not the same, but I kind of read that and thought, okay, fine. But I'm still excited for what it is, but I read that a little bit disappointed.
If he's the guy that you see him as, then surely he would not be doing just a waggle game on this thing, you know what I mean?
I'm sure he isn't, but that was what I heard when I first read that news. I was like, okay, fine. Cloud.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm very interested to see what it is.
Can we briefly talk about the petition?
Oh, who cares?
What's the petition?
Just people kicking off that he's doing an Xbox game.
I'll tell you what, though. Right, okay. I'll tell you what's interesting about, though, is it's in the article also, it says that Kojima admitted that he'd recently had a major project cancelled. And he said, I'm pretty pissed, but that's the games industry for you. Maybe that was something that he was doing with PlayStation, and then they just cancelled it. And he was just like, I'm off, in that case. We don't know. Just
possibly.
Guessing. Anyway, Konami...
Again, I'd love to hear that on the BBC News. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Anyway, next story. God. So,
Konami have done a deal with Bloober Team to work in partnership and to develop stuff. And the agreement, it says the agreement allows Bloober to produce games from existing and new IPs which Konami owns, including Silent Hill. And it apparently
a new football game.
It turned out that back in 2018, Until Dawn's Supermassive Games was actually made a pitch for a new Silent Hill game, but it was unsuccessful. And that became the Dark Pictures anthology. So I think Konami dodged a bullet there. It was something they did.
Sounds it.
I mean, say that. How many truly great games have Bloober Team made?
Well, exactly. This is what I was going to say, because this is... I mean, I saw this, and I just feel... I'm happy to see Silent Hill return, and obviously we can wait and see how the game is, but Bloober's track record doesn't really inspire me with confidence at all.
So what have they done?
Well, the most recent games... Yeah, I played The Medium and Blair Witch. I played and started, but it was so boring. And The Medium was also not very interesting either. They're not
Didn't the story completely shit the bed as well?
Yeah,
it was quite.
It had some serious issues, really. I think you could say with some things they probably should have thought about more before they started exploring ideas.
I always really like the idea of Observer, the one where it's like a cyberpunk thing where you're a detective who's like hacking into people's brains to find stuff out.
Observation, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I gather in the execution, it also isn't brilliant. It's like a better idea than it is a actual game, you know. So yeah.
So
strange choice.
You'd hope, wouldn't you, that maybe like Konami are going to help them? But I don't think anyone at Konami makes games anymore. So
I was going to say,
probably not going to help. It's so
yeah. I bet there'll be some people at Konami who just like move over to Bloober because they still want to make games. I'm sure this will have some of the DNA of some of the original team.
You know what they could do? Maybe they'll release a test called like New Horror Game or something. You know, that'll be the thing.
Yeah, which will definitely be representative of the final game. Why are we assuming that this is Silent Hill?
Because it's the natural fit.
Who are hoping?
It's the natural fit. Because Bloober team have worked mostly on horror games, and this is Konami makes Silent Hill.
Okay, but still,
it's not guaranteed. But
joining the dots.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Oh, the other thing that there was going back to new football game. There's apparently rumours that it's going to be free to play. Which
brilliant.
That could be great. But yeah.
All to buying those boots.
Yeah. Anyway, last story is that Grand Theft Auto 4 could still be 4 years away. Apparently.
GTA 4?
Yeah. Sorry, 6. Oh, what am I doing? I looked at that. Did I say GTA 4 was 6 years away? Oh,
cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like these are rumors, but they have been reported from various different sources. And a lot of people within the industry saying that's what I heard. But I mean,
we've been here before, haven't we?
We have, right? Okay, and I'm thinking now that James should structure the news in a different way. And this is only a suggestion. It's your part of the show, James. But I'm thinking that maybe you do the news, right? All serious, like, and then you have like a frothy. Oh, I'm loving that word this week. You have like a nice rumour section at the end, like where Wacky James comes out with his rumours, and then we talk about them. What do you reckon?
No, I don't want to do
a section where specifically we all just like the only reaction we can possibly have is like, oh, okay, that's
exactly.
Well, yeah, we can't really comment on
that's
that.
The problem.
If we put it in that section, we can like. Go into it a little bit more, and it doesn't sound like we're responding to news.
You're just setting me up for something here, Dave. Because whenever I've done anything like that, whenever I've done anything like that to do with rumours, you rip into me and say, "Where is this from? This is nonsense." Why are you even including this? And I don't want it.
Yes.
If I did it in a section, it would be the same. You'd still also say this is rubbish.
Because it wouldn't be in the news, would it? It would be this.
Yeah, it wouldn't be mixed in with
the hour.
The fantasy zone.
Yeah, the fantasy zone, James.
Right, do you want me to do James's fantasy zone next week?
Hey,
yes, please. That sounds like a whole other podcast, to be honest. But
it really does. Maybe that's what we call the podcast from now on. James Farley's Fantasy Zone.
Farley's Fantasy Zone. It's great.
The FFZ. Yeah. That sounds like some sort of,
I'm just watching.
That sounds like some sort of right-wing group, doesn't it? FFZ.
Plus also, if we start raiding people on Twitch and be like, oh, we've been raided by Farley's Fantasy. Oh, okay.
That is definitely some sort of...
What stream was that
These are sex people. I don't know, man. Okay, so maybe we'll talk about that in the week. Farley's Fantasy Zone.
I might have to do that because it does sound funny.
But yeah, that separates it from the news, so I can't get angry about it anymore because it's not real. But anyway, all these rumours were coming out, and all I'll say is that when you read this stuff, you take it all with a pinch of salt. But everything that was the comments coming out about it all seem very legitimate. Like, why would Rockstar release a new GTA now when GTA 5 is still making money, but also there needs to be more consoles on the market before they release on a new generation? That makes total sense. It makes sense for them to release towards the end of a generation more than at the start of it. Get as many consoles out there first, then release a game full price, and bang, they'll make tons out of it.
And then a year or two later, they can release a next gen version.
I was going to say, because who knows how long the generation is at this point. because it's all
Yeah, exactly.
up in the air now, hasn't it, for a while?
Yeah, that's the only thing that could get messy when they start releasing those sort of halfway, the PS5.5 or whatever. That's when it could get a little bit messy. But the stuff they were saying about it being the most interesting thing, read the stuff about the map, James.
Yeah, so apparently the map's going to be quite sort of small in size, but then they're going to expand it over time, like kind of Fortnite style, as in like there could be more stuff added and stuff removed and stuff like that later. Like the locations will change and expand, which is quite interesting.
Which is weird. Because
it's weird. It's weird if you think of GTA as a single player campaign game, right? That's where it's weird. However, obviously, their focus is going to be on online gaming. Now, I don't think they can drop single-player experience. I just don't. However, what if they were to bring out a single-player and online game where the single-player is, say, 5 hours long, then you've got the online stuff, but then when they expand the map, there's a further 5 hours of single-player content. And,
like another episode.
They expanded the online stuff, and they expanded that way. And to me, that's the sort of shit that totally falls in line with Rockstar. For me personally, I think that makes total sense for them to go down that route. So
I can't see that happening.
Why not?
Because they've always just focused on creating really fantastic single player games. The online's been there, and that's a massive part of it as well now. But the single player,
exactly.
That's what they do.
It's changed now.
Yeah, the multiplayer is much bigger now, I think, than the single player for GTA. For them, in terms of money. Like, that's what I mean.
Well, yeah, because surely this is... Sorry, go on, Dave.
The other thing they said is that it's going to be set in the modern day. So although it's set in Vice City, and again, this is all going off of rumours, so this might not be true, but setting it in Vice City, now everyone thinks of, the 80s, right? But now they're talking about setting it modern day because it's driven by the online stuff. Because if you set it in the 80s, you kind of alienate an audience. The cars and guns are not going to be what they are in the current GTA Online game.
Can't have smartphones in it.
Can't have those
bullshit,
smartphones
mate.
At all.
How are the kids going to get on Facebook? Can't do it.
Fuck knows.
News alert, Sean, no kids are going on Facebook.
Yeah,
so they're not going to get the jokes about Reagan, are they?
My bad.
I would just say that excites me a lot. Actually, if I was to buy a new GTA game that had like a 4 to 5 hour single player experience that then was almost episodic, you know what I mean? Then I think you're going to make a lot of people happy. I really do. I mean, I could play many games like that where I'm not sitting there playing 20 hours of a single player, like over the space of like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm actually playing 5 hours, and then like a month later, everyone's getting excited about the next chapter of this single player experience. I think, there's been positives and negatives around episodic gaming, and we've experienced them firsthand, especially when trying to cover them on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
But thinking about it now, man, that's pretty exciting. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it feels like such a fundamental change of how they've done these games since day one. And I'm not saying they don't make a change, because change happens, and people have to evolve and whatnot. So I get that, but it just, every trailer has been about the story and the narrative focus of the game. Even a few weeks or months ago, we're like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing for the next one to be serious and carry on from some of the amazing storytelling they did in Red Dead Redemption 2. Wouldn't it be amazing for GTA to do more of that, and then have like a mad GTA Online as a separate download? Maybe it's free to play, who knows? But I do like your idea, but it just feels completely different to what they have done in the past.
I mean, I guess
it's weird as well, because you've always banged on in the past about how you hope Rockstar continue just doing what they're doing. So that's always been a big part of every argument that you've had about their games.
Well,
so
it's not quite the same as going episodic to changing the mission structure, which I do hope they do.
The counterpoint to, that is, well, statistically, they know for a fact that most people don't anywhere near finish an average Rockstar campaign, whereas they do know people put hundreds and thousands of hours into the online stuff.
That's true.
Yep.
So in terms of what people are actually going to see and get the most out of, like, it makes some sense from that perspective as well.
I think they'll have a higher completion rate.
Yeah,
if they do it like that.
Yeah, but I do see Matt's point that it's certainly a shame to lose that experience that we've enjoyed from GTA in the past. But also, I can't necessarily fault them for doing this. I mean, presumably, it's not hard to imagine that this is why we didn't get any proper story DLC for GTA 5, right? Because the online stuff took off the way it did.
Yes,
someone made the decision that it made no sense to do an expansion for GTA 5. So it's assuming that same thought process is going into the new game, I think Dave could be right.
Yeah, I've always got tremendously excited about a new GTA. So, sorry, James, you're saying?
I was going to say my biggest fear with this is that it becomes mostly like an online game, and like any single player is basically just a tutorial for that online game, and that's what it becomes.
I think there's too big of their audience that would not like that.
Yeah.
As much as the money is being made on the online side of things, you cannot underestimate how many people buy that to play the single player game. You remember it didn't launch with online, and it still sold millions of copies at full retail price.
Yeah.
So turning their back on that audience would be the wrong way to go about things. If they're bringing out a GTA 6, it has to have a single player experience, I think. Whether they try and merge it together, like, say, Forza Horizon tried to do, I'm still not... there's still that line between online and offline modes in Forza, but they were trying to push those worlds together a little bit more. Whether it tries to do something like that or not, I don't know.
Or a bit more like a Division, like a live service-esque game where you can play Division and other games like it on your own, but then you can kind of throw up flares to bring in other people to do multiplayer stuff.
Possibly. I think... I just think turning your back on the single player audience that is definitely going to go out and pay £60 to £70 for your new game is the wrong way of going about things. As much of a smaller percentage of their income that makes up, it's still a fucking shit lot of money they're going to make out of it. So
especially if the online aspect could be standalone. Anyway, I mean, GTA Online could be standalone, isn't it? When a new PS5 and next gen version comes out,
because it's on Game Pass, isn't it? And I think you can you can buy it separately, can't you? No, can you? No, I'm thinking of Red Dead. So Red Dead 2, you can buy Red Dead Online separately, and it's like cheap. I think it was on sale for like £3.50 or something for a long time. It'd be interesting to see if they do that sort of model with it. It's also worth saying, if it's 4 years away, there probably is another 4 years in GTA Online once the next gen upgrade comes out. I reckon that'll still
probably
do just fine making money from it. Yeah, so
I mean, the Grand Theft Auto games have always been probably the biggest game that I've always get the most hyped for. When even going back as far as starting like roll muck threads about the new GTA and all sorts, I was always obsessed with what the new GTA could be, having loved the previous one so much, and spent hours and hours talking to my friends about how could they do missions.
Their marketing is second to none, I think.
Yeah, it's always fascinating.
The trailers they bring out, and you go through them frame by frame and stuff just to pick up on stuff. It's they're good at what they do. So let's just see. We just got a little bit of a wait.
That was a lot of chat based on zero facts, wasn't it? That was good.
Yeah, that's why Farley's Fantasy Zone is the place to be, mate. Yeah. Do we bring back jingles just for that segment? I think we might.
Yeah, we need an FFZ jingle for sure.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no more news. That's everything. But yeah.
Cool. Well, then let's get on to what we've been playing this week. And let's start with Sean this week, because I've noticed in recent weeks you've always gone last or second to last. So let's go straight in with a bit of Sean time, shall we?
I've only got a couple of short ones, to be honest. First one I've been playing is Bug Fables, which recently came out on Game Pass. I think it's been out for a little while. It came out this year, but it's been out a few months, and it's recently arrived on Game Pass. It's really weird because to look at it, even if you'd seen it on the Game Pass app, I imagine most people who listen to the show will have scrolled past it, because it at first glance it looks like a children's game. But it's basically it is a Paper Mario game, or it's like a love letter to Paper Mario games. Like it's all the characters are insects, right? And you're in this like the ant kingdom, and you're going into dungeons and finding relics and stuff. But it's everything about the format and the way it plays, and even the way it looks it's very clearly like the devs just wanted to make a Paper Mario game, but obviously didn't have the license. Like it's like I don't love the way it looks and sounds. Like the presentation, I'm not madly keen on. Like they've clearly like intentionally tried to make it look a bit like an N64 game, and like obviously it's a lot crisper than it would have been on N64, but in terms of like the detail and stuff, like the like geometric detail and stuff, and it's like all the characters are just sort of sprites, like really nicely drawn sprites, but there's very little there visually, and when it's like, no, I see what you've tried to do, and I still don't like it all that much, but it's really good fun. Like I say, you're sort of going around doing fights. You have like 3 different characters that have really different abilities, and depending on so it's sort of like JRPG style battles, like turn based. But there's cool mechanics. Like one guy, I can't remember what type of bug he is, but he's got like a horn on the front, so he can flip enemies on their back. So if you get armored enemies, he has to go in first. There's like flying enemies, and there's a bee with a boomerang, so you get her to lob the boomerang at flying enemies and drop them to the ground. And so it's all about every turn, like just being as efficient as you can. You can sort of mess with like the order that your team sort of does their actions in. So it's like, right, flip that guy first, then get the bee to drop that guy, and then get the magic guy to do more damage. And it's good. It's really satisfying. And then all those abilities also sort of come into play in the environment as well. There's like environmental puzzles that you have to do and secrets to find and stuff. And it's really good fun. Like I said, I don't love the way it looks, but the systems are really interesting and engaging, and the dialogue's pretty good as well. Like it's been pretty amusing, and I'm actually quite intrigued as to where the story is going to go. So, yeah, like
I've seen so many games look like this recently.
Mm.
Like visually, it's like that thick pen.
Yeah, it's really
style,
bold outlines,
solid custom colours and stuff. It seems like there's a lot of games coming out like that, and I can only just assume that I think it's either cheaper or easier to make games like that, or there's no, seriously, because you look at a lot of the games on the eShop have that visual style, the chunky. Yeah, chunky pen styles, the
sort of low poly, like barely any textures. Yeah.
It's weird. Did you know there was a $90 special edition version of this out for the Switch?
I did not. What was in it?
Real bugs.
I just got rid of it.
Real bugs.
1,000 bugs.
Actual bugs that would kick your head in. I keep talking. I'll try and find it.
Okay.
You played this on Switch, I presume. Sean, did you?
No, this is on Game Pass. So I've been playing it on the Xbox. I mean, it's also like because of the the way it looks and the pacing of it, it's quite a good one for xCloud as well. But
so it had the copy of the game, a V plush, which is the
V character,
enamel pins,
nice
soundtrack on CD.
I mean, you wouldn't. Okay,
CD.
How is the soundtrack?
CD, yeah.
Sure.
Well, sorry.
How is the soundtrack?
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, okay.
Spy cards. Papercraft diorama.
I mean, that makes sense.
Spy cards.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
Clearly,
I mean, that's all just standard stuff, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
that's actually quite standard at £90. That's considering what some try and get away with.
Matt, what else were they going to do? What else were they going to do with the soundtrack?
Digital download or vinyl?
Yeah, but
2021.
That's less. Right. Do you own a vinyl record player?
Of course he does.
No.
Why is the vinyl thing the thing that people want? They can't even use it.
Well, no, because everyone's buying vinyl players.
Vinyl player.
Record players.
Turntables.
Yeah.
All that.
Sound warmer,
you
Dave.
Scratching.
Sound
you
warmer.
You can do your scratching. I know. I like vinyl as well, but I just still haven't got
I don't really. I think like it'll be nice when I'm one day like old enough to be like, yeah, do you know what? Time to own a turntable, but I'm not there yet.
Or cool enough. It's not just old people, it's cool people that could go, listen to this. How about me, yeah?
Yeah, I need a turntable
I'm a DJ
so I can listen
now.
to the Hotline Miami soundtrack. But yeah, Bug Fables, really enjoying it. Despite, as I say, like to look at it, you wouldn't really get why it's any good. I don't like the way it looks, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I've like been playing quite a bit of it with Isaac as well, and like reading the dialogue for him and stuff. And it's been really good fun. The other game I've been playing is Overboard. So we mentioned this. Was it last week? This is the new game from Inkle, which is, the 80 Days people, among other things. And this is the sort of reverse murder mystery where you're on a boat to New York, and the game starts with you killing your husband by throwing him overboard. And then you have basically a set amount of time to prevent anyone from figuring out that you did it. Has anyone else? No one else has played this, have they? I know he's sort of.
No, I want it.
Yet.
It's on my wish list.
Yeah,
I really want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not played it yet either.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh no,
because it's
really?
Yeah, like it's the writing's good, like it's very entertainingly written. And I love the idea of it, but I'm just finding that like it's really obvious that there is just one very specific way of succeeding, right? And it's all about like being at specific places at specific times and doing specific things. Rather than it just being like, things can go slightly wrong, but you can basically muddle through and there are like different endings. There are different endings, but only a few, and most of them are you getting caught and going to prison. So it's just like he's sort of going through it and sort of trying new things in different runs, but then going, well, hang on a minute. There's like a series of things that I think worked in across 5 different runs. They were like, oh, well, there's this one bit where I managed to like drug this person or convince this person that I didn't do it or whatever. But then figuring out how to tie them together into one seamless run is like a whole other ball game. And I don't know if I'm just thick, but as it currently stands, I just can't get my head around it. I think I'm probably playing it wrong because I don't think you're supposed to play it to win, like for quite a while. And it does, like as you go through different playthroughs, there'll be like a series of little sort of objectives for you to tick off, which is, sort of give you ideas of like things you should be exploring or trying out. But then it's just a bit tedious because because you might do one of those and then you sort of think, oh, well, I'll see how the rest of this plays out. And then that's another 20 minutes of you just sort of going through the motions and, I'm in prison again. So I don't know. I don't know if I've just got the wrong mindset or what. But there's so much repetition in it. And that, there are tools to sort of make that as quick as possible. Like every conversation you get into, there's a button you can hold, which is just make this play out the same way it did last time. But then it might be a conversation you've already had, but due to like another item you've picked up or another conversation you've had, there might be a new option sprung in there somewhere. So you don't want to just fast forward through it just in case. I don't know. It feels a little bit messy to me, like especially compared to their previous stuff. So I don't know. I'm not wild about it yet. I'll carry on. Shame. It is a shame.
The concept's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and people seem to really love it. So hopefully it's just me that's wrong. I think maybe it's just because, people had said that sort of reverse Hitman comparison. Hitman sort of works in that, yes, there is a proper way to do things and it feels very cool when you do it. But also the fun is in when things go a little bit wrong and dealing with silly situations. Whereas this is like, no, if you fucked it, you fucked it. Like, and you will almost always fuck it.
That does worry me quite a lot because I hate it when there's like sudden failed states in games. It always really irritates me.
Yeah, and because the thing is, you don't even know that they're sudden. Like you'll have an interaction with some characters and not even know that has doomed you. And like each run is very short, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I don't know. Like so, as an example, there's so one of the things is you wake up having murdered your husband and one of your earrings is missing, right? And, it later transpires, it's like someone finds the other earring on the deck. So you're like, okay, fuck, like I don't think I can beat him there and pick it up first without missing some other important stuff. Because it's all like time-based, right? If you sort of, once you spend one time in one area, things progress elsewhere on the boat. But then later on, I found this like someone else's room you can break into and leave your other earring there. So I was like, right, fuck, that's it. That's how you do it. So I was like, right, cool, put the earring there. Did a bunch of other stuff. Got to like essentially the trial at the end, Like everyone on the boat's like, right, something's gone wrong, we need to have a meeting. And straight away, the woman who I sort of tried to plant the earring on was just like, "Oh, you left your shitty earring in my room." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Grass.
Well, yeah. So I was
No
like,
more
"Oh,
questions.
okay." I thought that was like a cool trick, and I'm now being told it was. So, like, to sort of put like options in like that, they're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, that makes sense," because then they'll think it's her earring, and blah, blah, blah. And for everyone to just go, "Nah." Afterwards, it's like, well, why put that in as an option if it's just not going to work because people, like other characters, are just deciding that it's not going to work? You know?
Yeah,
It's weird.
yeah. You had no warning that could.
Yeah, I had no
not
inkling that like,
work, yeah.
that like, people, like if there was like a conversation very early on that was like, "Oh man, she's always wearing a diamond earrings. No one could ever think anyone else would wear those."
Yeah,
Like
how unique! Oh, those are so unique. Those earrings.
Yeah, and
who, like,
I
have just
I
noticed wearing that
understand.
earring.
Yeah, and I understand it's built on, you sort of going through it over and over again and finding out new things, but just the process of doing that is not always enjoyable.
Yeah. Also, if it came to, like, if the way it told you was a little bit better. Like,
Yeah.
if someone turned around and went, "That's your earring," and then one of the characters said, "Well, no, I noticed those earrings."
Yeah.
She was wearing those earrings earlier
Yeah.
in the day or whatever, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
forget them. Then you kind of go,
yeah.
"Oh, I've been scuppered."
Yeah,
rather
but for
than,
the person that
"Oh,
you planted them
the
on to
game
just
hasn't
refute it
acknowledged."
and to no one even
yeah,
care,
yeah,
like, either way, it's just, weird.
yeah.
So yeah, that's basically
Shame.
it. I mean, I've been playing more Yakuza, but I'll save that for next week because I think I am about to finish it.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been enjoying it. Fair play. Fair play.
I spent. I mean,
It
I
took
would have
you a couple
finished
of
it.
years.
I would have finished it by now if I hadn't spent about 5 or 6 hours on the Cabaret Club management game.
Yeah,
which,
so I hear. Yeah,
which is
you're,
incredible.
You're obsessed with that.
Yeah, which James
Okay,
barely touched
all right.
apparently, and he's muted himself.
James,
All right, crack on.
is he on mute?
No, I didn't hear what you said, Sean. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I said I've spent way too long on the Cabaret Club minigame, which apparently you barely even touched. So.
Yeah, I did the bare minimum for that because it
mate,
just didn't interest me.
So good.
So,
I've just had a thought. James has his Switch right next to him now because we did that bit earlier.
Yeah.
So we all know where it is. Unbelievable. Okay, let me get mine out of the way because they're only quick and they're games you've heard of before. Ratchet and Clank. And I should point this out. No one pointed this out to us 2 weeks ago when we were covering this game extensively. The game is called Rift in Time. No, the game is called Rift Apart. I've done it again.
Yeah.
We called it Rift in Time on this show, and it's actually called Rift Apart. So we ballsed that up. I
Someone did.
apologise.
Darren Gargett met a tweet
really?
saying that we said, it's not like. We said something along the lines of, it's not like.
I said a Rift in Time.
Yeah, we
And then
basically
you went,
ballsed
no,
it
it's
up
just Rift in Time.
several
Yeah,
times.
we ballsed it up. Yeah. So, it's Rift Apart. So James had completed it. You texted me in the week, said you completed it, but you also 100%ed it, right?
Yeah, I did the platinum as well, yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to sell it, and nobody's interested in that, right? When I looked on CEX to see how much I could get cash for it, and it said 47 quid, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I could get more for that if I said it privately or whatever. So I left it a couple of days, and no one was going for it at 50 quid, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go to CEX. So I checked in the morning I was going, and it would drop down to like 30. And I was like, oh, fuck. Last time I looked, they were offering £28 cash for it. So that not many people wanted to buy that game after it launched. It's only been a few weeks, fucking hell. So anyway, I thought, well, while it's not, because I reckon it will go back up again, like, soon, when people start getting more PS5s or whatever. So I'm sort of riding the market a little bit. So I thought, well, while it's just sitting there, I'll 100% it. That game, how did you do that? How did you 100% it, James?
What do you mean? It's easy.
Like, getting from one part of the map to the other is so just annoying.
Really?
But, like, it's not fun to go around in that game at all.
Yeah, but you can
The
you can
levels-
fast travel like across most of it.
No, there's like 3 fast travel points on each map,
Yeah,
I'd say.
in each corner, so you can just go from one to
But then
another.
there's also bits where there's like huge sort of platform bits that used to be kill arenas, and you've got to okay, I know it's over there, so I've got to go here, around here, and all this. And then there's that fucking level. What was it? The second planet where you're flying around on a dragon?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a bit in it where you've got to go and collect these things. And there's things on top, like inaccessible areas, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how do I get up there? So I'm trying everything to get up there. I spent about 45 minutes trying to get this one at the top of the tower. No. And then later on, it just goes, oh yeah, your dragon can just shoot stuff now, and then so just fly up there and shoot it, and then you get the item.
Yeah.
And I'm like, brilliant. That's 45 minutes of me trying to do that. And then there's the huge area with where you go around and you get those orbs, right? That translate stuff or give you a little voice recording.
Oh yeah,
that one.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit in that, right, where for no reason there's just a cavern through the middle of it.
I know.
So if you're trying to
and you
zoom
can't
around,
see it coming,
collecting things, and you can't see it coming. You just drop down. It's like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Great. The game is not fun to get around in. So how you had the patience? Well, I was about to say how you had the patience to do that is beyond me. But you've completed Super Mario Sunshine recently.
See, that's the thing, because after Mario Sunshine, genuinely, this felt amazing. Like after Mario Sunshine, and so I had no problems at all.
There's also loads of bits like where there's, in the factory level, there's bits where you just can't see how you're supposed to get to it, and it feels like you're glitching your way up there.
Yeah.
Or if I jump on this bit here, although Ratchet is sliding down and sort of glitching his way down this canvas, if I jump over there, if I time it just right, I can make that ledge and get up there that way. And it's kind of like, wow, I shouldn't be trying to glitch my way up to a collectible ever.
I'll tell you what else.
That's weird.
It's one of the worst games that I played in recent years for invisible walls. Like, all over the place.
Yeah, God, they're everywhere, aren't they? Especially when you're riding fast things that just, if you touch an invisible wall, they just make you die. There's some bits where it's like, the game's like, this doesn't feel quite right, even though it's not an invisible wall. It's like, it feels like it's a bit weird what you're doing here, so you're dead now. Go back to the beginning of that level, and I'm like, oh, fucking how did you do that, James? Because it was infuriating me the other day.
I didn't get annoyed with any of the only one of the trophies that irritated me with that were the weapons-based ones, like where you had to do like 30 headshots or whatever with a gun, or because there's no indication whatsoever how many you've done. So it's some of them there's like 30 you need to do, one of them's like 20 you need to do, and it's just a bit annoying. Like having to try. And then one of them is for, the Void Repulsor one. For that gun. And how what you have to do is you have to collect people's shots and then shoot them back at them. But the gun doesn't actually do that until it's been upgraded a lot. And the point at when I started trying to do it, I didn't have hardly any of the Raritanium left, and I couldn't do anything with it, and it was a bit annoying.
Isn't there like more than enough Raritanium to upgrade everything anyway?
I'm not sure there is in the actual whole game, but if you start in challenge mode, you start off with everything that you already had, and then there's loads more of the stuff because you go through and pick everything up again. I think that's the only way.
I don't want to do challenge mode.
No.
I just need to get it out of this house, I think.
But I've heard lots of people getting this as a platinum.
It's easy.
It's my second platinum after Astrobot.
Because it's not a hard one. It's quite. Compared with a lot of other games.
Yeah, but it's not a fun one. I want to enjoy what I'm doing.
I know, but I did. I thought it was fine. I mean, I wouldn't say it was amazing or anything, but I didn't feel like I was wasting my time.
Okay.
But then again, I just played Super Mario Sunshine, so.
Also, that game does not use that system, the card stuff.
No,
it's funny. You bring up the cards, and it's like, you need to do this achievement, and I'm like, okay, let's go there then. No, there's no option to go to that part of the game, like we were promised. Okay, okay, we'll just. I'll go back to my ship again now.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because after finishing that game, there's so much about it which I liked. There's a lot of things that were very good, but it was
enjoyable.
It really doesn't do what it felt like it was supposed to be doing, though, does it? Let's be honest. No, the whole SSD thing, the thing that disappointed me the most about that game was the pocket universes, because I was expecting there was going to be like loads of those, like randomly generated or something. I don't know, and there's hardly any. It's just a handful of them, and they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And it's very disappointing. That was.
Yeah, and it's, as I said to you, like. The whole idea was that you were supposed to be travelling to a new dimension. It literally could be a door.
Yeah.
It could be a door in Shenmue.
Exactly,
That's what that could be.
And they're not crazy dimensions, are they, either? It's the same. It's just like, okay, it's some platforms floating in space that you then jump across.
With some purple background
there. That's very disappointing, that was.
It is a bit. but there you go. I, as you say, I think it was because we were expecting so much more that we've been quite down on it on this show, and I also because I think the reception elsewhere is truly baffling to me about how much people love this game. And fair play, if they love the game, they love it. I would say, I was chatting to Ben about it, Scientologist from our Discord, and he was asking whether he thought it was because people were so desperate, like for a PS5 game, that it got rated higher than maybe it should have been. And I thought, yeah, maybe by consumers, but maybe I'm naive, but I don't think the press would be like that. I just don't. Like, people that are regularly reviewing games, I don't think that would have an effect on their score. What I do think, though, is that a lot of people that have played Ratchet games reviewed this one. Do you know what I mean? So going into it, they knew what a Ratchet and Clank game was like.
Yeah.
So they didn't have that disappointment. Whereas we've not really played many Ratchet and Clank games. I played a bit of the PS4 one. Probably about 3/4 of that or whatever, and I tired of that at the time. So going into this, I was expecting a step up or something different from that, and what we got was a very beautiful looking one of those games. And so to me, it was disappointing. So I think that's where I sit with it. But
I also
whatever.
Don't feel like I fully got like money's worth with it either, to be honest. Like, as in,
really?
Nah. I mean, it's even getting the platinum. I think I only spent about 15 hours maybe on it, and it still feels steep.
You sold it? Yeah?
No, not yet. No. I mean, I don't know if I will be able to. Because it's, as you said, people are not buying.
It just needs a little gap, because loads of people that bought it at launch have now got rid of it, and then we'll wait until those copies go again. They'll be going, oh no, come on, mate. I know I said 27 quid, but I'll give you more. Come back.
See, I think it'll be nice.
So I'll wait for that moment.
I was thinking about whether they could do like DLC for this, because they totally could, and it would be nice if they did.
Just
but
a new planet.
But yeah, exactly.
Would it? I'm not playing it.
Well, I would, but I don't think they will, though.
Okay.
I think it's unlikely that there'll be any more.
Fair enough. Okay, the other game that I've been playing is another old game. I tried Disco Elysium, the final cut, because I'll tell you this. So, I've spoken about the MacBook on before, but I don't think I actually told you what happened. So I bought my dream MacBook last year, and I had it for, a total of about 8 months before I said, look, it was annoying because I told my wife, I told Joe, look, just keep it on my desk, but she didn't. She was walking around with it and banging it into walls and shit, so it had all like dents in it. Then I said, right, Harry, when he's doing his schoolwork, he can use the old MacBook Pro. He can use that big clunky thing, because why not? And then it got to the point where she was like, oh, it's not charged up and it's so big and heavy. Let me just use that one. I was like, fine. Come back with a key missing, right? So I had to send it off to get all that sorted, right? Got it back, and I said, right, this stays on my desk now. That's where it lives. It stays on the desk. The charger's there. Just whenever we're finished with it, it stays on the desk. Okay, fine. And then I saw her one night getting the shopping, fine. Then she put it on the floor and then spilt her full drink all over it. And I tried to dry it all off. I put it off onto the table. We started watching a film, but I had to pause the film because I kept hearing zzz, zzz,
oh, really?
Zzz, from the table. And I was like... So I looked up how much it cost on Apple, and it was not far off of what I paid for the thing. And then I sent it off for repair, and it's from another company, and they said 200 quid we'll repair it for, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then they sent me another email and said, no, it's fucked actually.
They did offer you 50 quid to scrap it though, right?
90.
90? Oh, well,
that was the worst thing when you
Cha-ching.
sent us that, and it just said like, or £90 scrap. And you're just thinking,
yeah. It has still got my hard drive on it, so no, thank you. Please send it back.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the new one arrived, and I was reminded while my last one was gone that actually I've got Final Cut for Disco Elysium because they released it on Mac, and that's all done via Steam. So I downloaded that and started playing that again, and God, the memories just came flooding back. But what's brilliant, you go into a game like that and you know the story or whatever, So the only way to get something out of it is to do something different with the character, right? Because this is so based on what direction you went for the character. And I think I'm going to start it again because I didn't get too far into it. I got down, I played the intro. I'm amazed by how much of a difference the fully voiced acting makes.
It's good,
it really
isn't it?
does feel way better now.
Mm-hmm.
And did they do anything to it visually? Sure.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, because I'm trying to work out whether it's just looking better because I'm playing native on this computer.
Oh, maybe.
Rather than because I played it through
sharper, yeah.
NVIDIA
GeForce
thing, didn't
Now,
I?
yeah.
GeForce, yeah. GeForce Now, that was it. So maybe it's that. But it is certainly looking nicer. But when I was building my character, I was like, right, I'm going to be like sort of a bit of a strong man in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like an intimidating, dark character. That's what I want to be. And then today, I'm sitting there thinking about my character and going, actually, I don't want to go down that route. Like, knowing how the story pans out, I don't know how that will work. So I think I'm going to be Bill Murray. I think that's the way. The slightly unhinged, but with an insane amount of confidence.
Yeah.
Sort of personality.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play it as Bill Murray. Just to see what
I can definitely
happens.
recommend, because so my playthrough was, I forget what they call it, all the purple skills. So it's all the sort of emotional
empathy
sort of,
and all that sort of stuff,
and all sort of emotional and intuitive stuff. And Inland Empire in particular is a fascinating skill because it's like, are you accessing this sort of incredible wealth of information that sort of exists in your subconscious, or are you just losing your mind? Who knows?
Yeah.
And you genuinely can't tell, and that's part of the fun. I'd really recommend like focusing on that stuff. But then there'll be people who didn't do that, and people who played it completely differently. I'm like, oh no, you've definitely got to play it with like a really high shivers skill or whatever. I think everyone just has their own read on it, don't they? So yeah,
the Bill Murray characters that I love are the ones that are always insanely confident, but not in order to impress. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So his character is always sort of like looked down upon by everyone around him, but he just don't care. Just doing his thing, and if you're in the way, then get out of the way. but I don't care what you think of me, but I am slightly unhinged, and I think that's the route I'm going to go down because I just like that idea, and I think it works within the sort of story that pans out.
Yeah.
So because I think most of us ended up with Sorry Cop because my natural feeling was to go, I did a terrible thing last night, and I need to let people know that was wrong, and that I'm a changed man. And you end up, all right. I quite enjoyed the route that it took. I didn't really enjoy the ending, but I kind of looked back on that and gone, actually, why did I turn around and just say sorry to everyone? Like, that's what sort of existence is that?
I mean, I think it's in the case of that character, I think it's perfectly justified because, as you say, you spend essentially the first half of the game just finding out about loads of stupid shit you did.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be wicked if you just didn't care about it, just plowed on regardless?
Yeah.
Bill Murray in Disco Elysium.
I suppose, because there's only a small.
Wouldn't he make a great wouldn't he?
Go on.
If they ever made a film of that, wouldn't he be perfect for the role?
Yeah, he would, actually.
He would, though, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Give him the haircut.
Get
and
that
the
moustache
beard.
on him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. No, it's way too well known, way too comedic.
What's that got to do with anything?
I'm just thinking like a really incredible up-and-coming actor you don't know and like blows you away, be way better than Bill Murray going in and pure of expectations.
Just being Bill Murray. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I disagree. He's so good, though, Matt. He can play anything.
I know he's one of the all-timers, but I just think like that has the game has such a very specific
too well established
vibe, if I can say that. And I think, someone new come around and blowing everyone away with an incredible performance.
Listen to us casting the Disco Elysium film that doesn't exist.
I'm amazed that
although, to be fair, we did recently cast the TCGS film that doesn't exist.
We did.
Either, so
I was going to say, I'm amazed no one's asked us this as a question, but also there is that potential TV show in the works, isn't there? So who knows?
Yeah, Bill Murray's not going to do that, is he?
No.
Yeah, so
he did Zombieland.
I will The cool thing is that Jo is now at a point where she's inviting friends over, and I haven't really got anywhere to go, so I think I might be playing that a lot in my bedroom, like a teenager, while the adults are having a little party in the front room. I think that might be happening in the near future, so I'm quite looking forward to that.
Nice.
But yeah, I will play more of that because it makes such a difference now that the characters are all fully voiced and everything's
really
pretty cool.
And like, how fucking good is the narrator, man?
Brilliant.
Like obviously, like you hear him a lot, and it's like they knew that voice had to be so good, and it is. Like,
I assume they re-recorded the original lines, right? Because I remember the start of the game originally.
Yeah.
Whenever the character said "baby," I cringed, whereas now I didn't. Now I don't. So I can't work out if it's because I was used to it from the hours of hearing that voice, or it's because they've toned it down a little bit.
I think they've redone some of the existing dialogue, but not all
my
of it.
boy Kuno's been revoiced.
I prefer the new one,
controversially.
A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying they prefer it. Well, James, a lot of people have said it's a little bit like Charles Martinet trying to do the Mario movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you hear one line, you fall in love with it, but could you imagine the whole fucking script in that voice?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I can. I think it'd be.
Well, the main thing that got me was like, the new one, like it's they've softened the Scouse accent. It's not the same. I'm like, yeah, but the guy who did the original voice wasn't Scouse. It's not like it's lacking authenticity now. It's if anything, finding out the original voice actor wasn't Scouse, just sort of that the original voiceover job now just sort of sounds like a sort of the shitty parody of a Scouse accent to me now.
I love those games. Was it what's a good example of that? Wasn't it the Metro games where they were like the accents in this are shocking, and they go, no, the voice actors are all from there.
Yeah.
That's all legitimate. Yeah, I love stuff like that. But that's pretty much what I've been playing. I've obviously playing FIFA pretty much every night because of what's happening currently within the footballing world. So yeah, we've gone back to that horror show of a video game. But
it wasn't that bad.
No, the night you played was great, but we've had some bad nights since then. Matt, I'll be honest with you. We need to get Matt Murray back in midfield. I think that's the way it goes.
I'm obviously
and
DM.
Slush on the wing. What's that on a Slush?
Yeah.
Why the other night when we were all going, come on, mate. Why didn't you come on?
When was that? I don't remember that.
It was
after the England match, wasn't it?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Story.
I've been playing a new football game, Dave. It's
Yeah, of course, yeah. Right, okay, Matt. What have you got for us?
It's a very short one for me. I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade episode Intermission. Finished that. Cool. It took me like 10.5 hours in the end, but absolutely loved it. It's got actually at the end of it, it's got a new ending or an extended ending for Remake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that I think the director of the game basically said that this is essentially how Remake Part 2 is going to start. It's going to end directly after this. So it was really cool seeing that at the end. It's just an extended version of what people have already seen with a bit of extra stuff, but it's really awesome seeing that. And yeah, I just absolutely loved the game. It makes me think up.
It's set at the same time, isn't it, as the original game, I think, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is, yeah.
It's like, so the things are going on like in parallel. There's no like crossover, is there? Like between stuff.
You do see some of the other characters, and you see some of the larger. Well, you see the larger event from a different angle, shall I say?
Yeah.
And you meet some of the other characters, but they're just kind of like almost like waiting in between scenes. You're like, oh hey, it's you, and they're clearly about to do the thing you see in the main game, or they've just done the thing in the main game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens while Remake Part 1 is happening.
How have you not played Remake yet, James?
It's on my list because I've got it with PlayStation Plus before. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's it may be the next thing I play.
So surprised you haven't played it.
Yeah, because I'm now at the point. I think I was talking to you guys on WhatsApp about this, wasn't I? That I'm like, right, what's my list of reasons to keep the PS4 at this point? And once upon a time, I was very like, I've still got like my 360 and my PS3. Like, oh, what, just in case, what if this? And I'm kind of getting over that now. It's like, it's done, get rid. So basically, the PS4 is, the list is basically God of War and Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think those are the ones I need to get done before I can contemplate.
Oh God, you have
getting rid.
To play God of War.
Yeah,
oh, you'd love God of War. You really, really would love it.
It's a very good game. It is very good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
James, before, like, when you do play it, and you'll put like 5 to 10 hours into it or whatever, and you'll probably come on the show and say, David, I think you were wrong about this game. It's brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. Just remember that I also really enjoyed it for that amount of time and thought this is going to be incredible. And then it just fell off a cliff for me.
I was going to say, considering I'm already sort of 5-10 hours into Final Fantasy VII Remake, would you recommend I get that done first or God of War?
Well, if you're asking me, I'd say God of War and never play Final Fantasy, but Matt's probably the one to ask because he's played both of them.
Yeah, they're both stunning games. If you started one, I'll just crack on with that.
Matt, can I ask you a question about Final Fantasy VII? Because what I'm wondering about it, well, I'm going to anyway, is the thing is, I've got the free PlayStation Plus version. Should I just get the one that you've got? Do I need that? Do you know what I mean?
No. So the only reason I bought the disc again is because I didn't want to have to pay for the upgrade for the PS5 version. That's why I bought a disc version. But the Yuffie DLC you can buy digitally without needing the game. So if you want to play that new stuff,
the PS4 one.
Even if you got the PS4 like PS Plus version, you can still buy the DLC. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to buy that separately, regardless. It's if you want the upgrade, that's why I bought physical.
Okay.
To get the free.
Yeah, I'm not really that bothered about that.
The Yuffie thing is a digital separate purchase, like £16.
Does it look significantly better? Did you feel? Does it play significantly better than the with the upgrade over the?
Yeah. So the 60 frames is instantly recognisable. I thought it is really, really noticeable, and particularly when you combine your attacks with the other character in your party, like it can sometimes be absolutely manic. If you're hammering square and then the other character you're with is doing the same attacks as you, it's so fast. But instantly, up from the first moment you get into gameplay of the game, it just felt different. And that's the 60 frames. In terms of how it looked, it looked stunning. I thought it looked stunning on PS4, but it's really, really incredible looking on PS5. Obviously it'd be better. I haven't seen them side by side. I'm sure there's probably not a massive amount of difference because it looks so good on PS4, but my God, it looks beautiful on PS5.
Okay, maybe I'll do it. We'll see.
Yeah. I did that, but it's. If you want to spend like 25 quid or whatever on the disc version, but I thought it was worth it for the upgrade.
Just play the PS4 version.
Yeah, I think I'll just do that because I've got it all here ready anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, but you should. It's so good. It makes me think I might just restart Remake Part 1 again.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely stunning game. Absolutely stunning. And I played a Retro Go a bit more this week. Did you guys download it or start playing it?
Yeah, I played it. I struggled to get anything out of it, to be honest.
Really? Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I think for me it was just the actual playing of the game was just kind of like it's the flicking around and I didn't really enjoy that aspect of it. And to be fair, I only played one game. But there was one bit where it went on for ages before it moved the game on. And I was like, I can't, I'm not actually enjoying
What do you mean went on
this.
for ages? Because obviously as soon as...
So the way it works is like, you know in Championship Manager, James, where the text will come up, won't it?
Yeah.
And then it will stop at a pivotal moment and turn to like gameplay footage. And then you'd see what happened. It kind of does that, but you're controlling that gameplay footage with swipes and taps and passing and stuff. That bit went on one of those bits went on for ages for me, Matt, because I kept shooting and it come off the post or the bar, and then I'd make a tackle and then pass it and then edge forward and shoot, and the keeper would parry it and it would go to one of my players. So then I would then pass it out again, and I was like, this is going on for way too long for a short bit of play. You know what I mean?
But I was enjoying it. I was like, wow, it's more gameplay. But I thought that was good. It's always great when you do a shot or something and like, okay, the opposition's probably going to get this, and it's suddenly going to go to 20 minutes time when it has the next text moment. But the fact you can like tackle and keep the move going and string together like 25 passes sometimes on a move to get a goal after that is immensely satisfying, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't get the same reaction out of it.
Very much tick-a-tackle football.
Yeah, all right. James Farley.
Yeah, I've only played, apart from, so I finished Ratchet and Clank, which we already talked about, but the other thing I played this week is a game called Chicory, which I think, do all of you know about this? I know Sean does, but...
No idea.
Right. I'm quite nervous about talking about this game, mostly because I really, really loved it. And I'm actually concerned that I'm not going to be able to express very well why I love it. And it's difficult because normally, I mean, the last couple of weeks in particular, I've come on here and I've mostly just moaned about the stuff I've played. But this has been, like, marvellous. Like, the whole thing has been so good. And it's just difficult to explain, I think. I mean, what it is it's a top-down puzzle exploration game with a map that's like a 2D Zelda. And what it is that the world has had all of its colour sucked out of it, so everything is monochrome. And then you play the part of this person who's, it's a character who's a janitor, who's given the brush, which becomes the brush wielder, who then has to fill the colours back in. And you can do this by like sort of drawing on the screen, or you can do it by like filling in as well. And you can like choose different colours, but although there's only 4 colours that can be selected for each area that you go into, so you can make it as beautiful or as like horrendous looking as you like. But the whole point is to kind of fill things in. I wasn't particularly interested in this to begin with, mostly because I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. Anything to do with like artwork or anything like that, I'm awful at it. When they say things like draw this picture on the screen, and mine just looks dreadful. Always, it looks absolutely terrible. I've seen other people that have played this online. They created these wonderful works of art. Mine still look like the stuff that I would have done in reception. Like they look terrible. I just can't do it at all. But that doesn't matter because that's not what the game is really about at all. That's an aspect of the game that you can engage with if you want to, but it's not the full point. And what happens with the game is that it's kind of like Zelda, actually, in that the character gets upgrades as you progress through, and like your brush gets upgrades, so then you can go to other parts of the map that were previously inaccessible, so you can climb walls, cross water, and all that kind of stuff. And there are different brush styles, so you can sort of decorate each and every like sort of area. But the thing that I really loved about it is that there's no pressure at all. Like you don't have to be like even though, like, as I was saying, people online have been posting pictures of these like fantastic stuff they've done, but you don't have to be a specific type of artist. The game like totally leaves it up to you, like how much or how little you want to colour the world. And the colouring, it becomes like what's really clever is it pushes this idea that the colouring is kind of an expression not just of like an artistic style or whatever, but also your state of mind and like the way that you're trying to play the game. Like if you're sitting there like trying to colour everything in like really in intricate detail, or if you're just trying to like rush through it or whatever, it's an expression of that. And it's this lack of pressure that's brilliant. Like there's side quests in the game, but then one of the messages of the game is this idea that it's okay to say no if you don't feel like doing something, because the whole game, a lot of the game really is about mental health and this idea of you shouldn't put pressure on yourself over these sorts of things. So if you don't want to, they're fine. It's like no, you don't need to do this at all. And so this is why I'm finding this is difficult to discuss, because it's really difficult to explain. Why? I don't know. It's just really difficult. Go on.
There's no right or wrong. What is difficult? Are you struggling to express what it is about it that clicked with you?
Not really, because I think it's what it is because the central premise of the game is to express yourself and not feel that you need to be something, as it were. And the only pressure is the pressure that you put on yourself. Is what this is about. Okay. And so
learners, I shouldn't, because it's a very serious message, but at the same time, learn that lesson and describe what you like about the game. Don't put pressure on yourself.
Well, that's the thing, because that's what I loved about it, though, because it deals with this, because it's all rooted in this idea of creativity. And like, if you're doing anything which is like creative in life, then you always have that fear that you're being judged by others, and you have like the self-doubt and the feeling that you want to just give up and that kind of thing. And that's what this does a really good job of, like, investigating that as a feeling and what it feels like as an artist to sort of go through that, but also just in general, the way that you interact with the world. And there's this fantastic bit towards the end of the game where, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say because it'll probably spoil it. Actually, I shouldn't say. But there's the whole point of like the monochrome and the colour is also like to do with mood, obviously, and like the way that you see the world. And it's such a positive game in a sense, but there's this real sense of melancholy to it as well that I really engage with. And in no small part because it has absolutely fantastic music, like these piano scores, which is so good. And I mean, it took me about 10 hours or so to get through, and the start is a bit slow, but when it opens up, it's so good because the puzzles in it, there's no combat. The only combat in it is they have like these boss battles, but they're not really very complicated at all. And the rest of it is really just like environmental puzzles. I mean, and I've said on the show many times and in streams that I've done that, you know, I'm not a puzzles person. I hate them. But environmental puzzles I really get on with. And these were really good, like very inventive, but not to the point where you feel sort of irritated by them. Yeah, they were really absolutely spot on. Just the difficulty is so good. And it's just, I mean, I feel this could be my favourite game this year. Like, I really think it could be. I mean, just small little touches, like at the beginning of the game when you have to like name your character and stuff like that. It doesn't do it in the normal way. What it does is it asks you, like, one of the questions it asks you is like, what's your favourite food? And you like type in like what it is, and then later on you find out that's the name of your character. So like the whole way through, it's like it creates this really weird connection that you have with the character because it's like, you know, it's your food, and it's which is pretty good.
With the demo, you type it in, and it's like 10 minutes later, everyone's like, "Oh, hi, burgers."
Yeah, one was called burritos, and it was just like,
so I mean, based on everything you've said, I mean, people would have already messaged in. I turned my Switch on to try and find it. Are you playing on Switch?
No, this is on. I think it's on Steam.
I don't think it's on Switch.
It's on Steam and it's on PlayStation, but it's not on anything else, which is a shame because that's one of the only other slight problems with the game is that playing. I mean, I played it on PlayStation, and the only slight problem with it is the controls because, you know, drawing with with the sticks is not very easy. You can change the brush sizes and stuff like that, or change the colours. It's really reasonably easy, and you can also use the touchpad as well, but the touchpad isn't great. But this would be so good on something like the Switch, and I think it'd probably be a lot better on PC as well because you have a lot like sort of finer control like with a mouse.
Phone, would it work on phone?
No, I don't think so because you mostly still need like directional buttons and stuff like that to move around the rest of the time because that's what you're doing. The character moves around like Link does, like in Zelda, like, you know, jumping and all that kind of stuff. So I think you need to have you still need to have proper controls. But
so did you play on Mac?
No, I played it on PlayStation.
Oh, on PlayStation. Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
See, so sorry for the audience. I missed half of this because it just started pissing down, and we had some washing on the line, so I had to run out and get it. But yeah, so I think I've said on the show, but I kickstarted this and foolishly chose the PC version as my reward, and it just, like I was saying to James the other night, like I just at the moment I'm just not in the habit of playing PC stuff, so it's just not been, you know, when I'm sitting down in the evening like, right, what shall I play tonight, it's just sort of it's not been in front of me, so I need to sort that out because everyone's saying it's absolutely incredible.
It's it's so good, and this is why I was kind of worried talking about it because I do find it difficult, honestly, to like be joyful about things that I play. I don't know why that is, I just do. But this is a game which really connected with me, actually. I really enjoyed it. And it was one of those games where, I mean, it's only 10 chapters long, but at the end of each chapter it always says, you know, do you want to save and quit? I'm like, no, I want to keep going because this is so nice, you know, the way it is, and just like I mean, there's conversations in it about, you know, the nature of, you know, like different economic systems and all this kind of stuff, which is interesting, you know, that they just stuck that in, but it's done in such a good way that it's not like really pretentious and awful. It's just there if you want to engage with it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just very, very good. Yeah, I would recommend.
How long did the game take to finish, James?
About 11 hours, I think. 10 or 11 hours. Okay. It's not very, very long. I mean...
So is that a deal breaker for you, Matt? Where do you sit with a 10 to 11 hour game these days?
No, that's about right. It will take me 20. That's the trouble. But this looks really nice. Obviously, I heard everyone saying such good things about it when it came out, and I think you've sold me on it, James. I need a new game.
Why is there not a Switch version?
I don't know.
Fucking hell.
But it's just...
It seemed like a no-brainer, doesn't it?
The other thing about it is it's just like, you know, you look at the visuals and stuff like that, and it goes beyond that sort of like, oh, isn't it cute? You know, that kind of thing. It's more than that, this game. It's just so much more than that. It's so good.
Because, at a glance, it's very twee, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's not.
It sounds like
Wonder
Song was like that in the visually. It's like, oh, it's right, it's a cute platformer, and it's like, no, it had some real things to say, and like, yes, a lot of it was like, broadly positive, but some of it really wasn't, and a really important game. So I'm really glad that the devs managed to sort of nail that sort of thing twice now.
Yeah, it's just because it doesn't feel patronising.
What did it do before?
Wonder Song. That's the.
Oh right, it was the Wonder Song. Right, yeah. Okay. Wow, that come out. That only come out last year, didn't it, or was it the year before?
No, Wonder Song was 20. I want to say 17, 18. It's a few years old.
Wow, I was way off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Best thing I played this year. Very good.
Cool.
And that game again is called.
It's called Chicory.
There we go. All right. Well, let's get on to your letters. Your postal...
The mailbag. Let's open the mailbag,
questions.
Guys.
Yeah, let's open that mailbag.
If you want to send us a postcard, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Ray Clett says, despite loving the series and owning most of the titles...
Wait, come on, that's got... Ray Clett.
Yeah, raclette, as in...
Raclette. What's a raclette?
A raclette.
What are they doing to us?
I don't know what that is.
Ray, what are you doing to us?
It's not doing anything to us.
No, it's a thing, Sean. It's a raclette. Oh, I know. He's racletted us.
Okay, I'm confused. Who's joking?
Was it Rayclett? Rayclett.
Go on, let's go.
Despite loving the series and owning most titles for it, I've never actually completed a Donkey Kong franchise game. Which franchises do you hold in high regard but have actually never finished anything from? Now, I assume it's Donkey Kong Country franchise, right? It's not like, I fucking love the Donkey Kong games, but I've not finished.
I've not got a death screen. Guys, there's a death screen coming up. There's a death screen coming up. If you all want to gather, there's a death screen. I was like, leave me alone,
kill
mate.
screen. Kill screen, though.
Oh, that's it. It's kill screen. Fuck.
There's a death screen.
I've just lost my nerd badge.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. What? A game series that I love, but I've never finished one of them. God, I don't think there's any.
You could argue that, like, for all the years I've been banging on about Monster Hunter, like, I've never done everything in any Monster Hunter game ever. Because, like, nowhere close. Even, like, despite putting, like,
Yeah, but that's different, though, right? Because that's more of an ongoing experience.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is that they're all fucking huge, so you can put, like,
Dave,
200 hours in and still
FIFA?
I have, actually. At the end of it.
Even I've completed a FIFA, Matt.
Oh, yeah, one credit.
Yes, he has indeed. He has indeed. Do you know what? I can't think of a single game series that I'm really into that I haven't completed, like in terms of single player experiences.
Neither can I.
God, that's disappointing, isn't it?
Because most of them, yeah.
Well, that's a shit answer.
Probably a good question, but I probably shouldn't have read it out.
No, I think it's interesting because I think there is, there used to be, it certainly used to be when I was younger.
Yeah,
there would be games that I would be into that I would never have got anywhere near completing. But even back then, there were still games like GoldenEye. I saw through to the end, even though that's got some horrific levels in it. Banjo-Kazooie, played that 25 times.
How many
completed it 25 times actually.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. Probably. I've never got all of the stars in Mario 64. That might be a good answer.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I could.
But then you've... Go on, sorry.
I could go for one of the Forza games, like Forza Horizon games.
You can't complete that.
You can. You can complete the festival, can't you?
Yeah.
Sort of. But then it goes, here's a fuck ton more things to do. I get that is another live. Those games are very... I suppose from Forza Horizon 2, I don't know. I played 2, didn't I? I think I played 2. Yeah, I think I finished that one. But from 3 and 4 were very much like, there's still so much more you can do here. It did feel more like a never-ending experience than it did one that had a definite ending. Even though it had that like mega long race that you had to drive around the whole island on in 3. That was great.
See, I think for me, the answers... this is cheating a bit because I have finished one of them, but probably Final Fantasy. Like, broadly speaking, I consider myself, like, into Final Fantasy, but like I haven't played 1 to 5. I've only finished 10. And there's some I definitely don't like, and yet if you ask me if I like Final Fantasy, I'm like, yeah, it's Final Fantasy, of course I like it.
I mean, it's kind of a similar boat, but then I'd probably, if somebody asked me, I'd probably say, nah, they're all right, but I'm not really into them.
So no, I'm not a nerd. Fuck off.
Also, only finished 10.
Matt?
Probably Splinter Cell.
You've not. Oh,
you haven't
we've
played
not
any of
discussed that. Yeah, we've not discussed that on the show, have we?
Have we not?
No, I don't think we
haven't,
have.
No.
So sorry, Matt. We got to talk about it now.
But where do we even talk about it? Was it on a?
I can't remember.
FIFA?
Regular listeners will remember that Matt loves Splinter Cell, and he can't wait for a new Splinter Cell to be announced. He's predicted it every time we've done an E3 show. He went nuts when he found out that there was one coming out. Well, it turns out there wasn't. We lied to him about that. And then he just drops a bombshell that he's never played one.
Well,
Incredible.
no, I think I might have played a couple of minutes of one of them.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't played them properly, no.
So what's the obsession about Splinter Cell from then?
It just snowballed. I thought great prediction one year, and I just kept leaning into it.
But you were saying I'd love that. I'd fucking love that. Sam Fisher with the three lights.
It sounds like something I would
with the
love.
three lights.
It sounds like something I would love.
We got
Actually,
Splinter Cell.
it says here the main character's called Sam Fisher, and it gets up to all sorts.
What about Metal Gear Solid, Matt? Because I know you were a huge fan of that series as well. Have you actually ever finished one of them?
Yes, you twat.
Come on, it's a fair question. It's a fair question.
Yeah, no, we've been over that with him before.
Yeah, the 1 and
He's
2,
finished
didn't
one
play
of them.
3, did 4, didn't finish 5.
You did 4. You saw 4 all the way to the end.
Yeah, I finished 4.
With a microwave hallway.
Yeah, with the crawling.
That was a weird fucking game, man. We were all at the time. We were like, "Oh, isn't this? Whoa!" But looking back on it, you're like, "That was a bit much, wasn't it?"
I mean, I
You know
liked
what I
it.
mean?
But yeah, no, I didn't play the third one, which everyone says is the best, Snake Eater. And didn't finish 5. I was loving 5, but it was going on a bit. And I think actually recently I went back to it. I think it's only like in the last 2 or 3 months I went back and did a few more. And maybe it was over Christmas, I don't know. But I went back and did a few more missions in Metal Gear Solid 5. So maybe I'll go back to that. Because, yeah, I don't know why I did that. I don't know. Maybe it's a Christmas thing. Who knows? Anyway. Yeah. Yes, James. That's your
a
answer.
Christmas thing. Christmas time. Metal Gear Solid 5. Go back to it. Do a couple of missions. You don't know why. Sorry. God. Let's move on to the next question.
So that's my answer.
David Cage, I assume it's the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
Has messaged in to say, question, which video game series do you think you know the characters well enough to write good erotic fan fiction for?
Or good
Probably Splinter Cell.
Oh, God.
I mean, we could all do a decent Mario one, right?
Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, easy.
Absolutely.
Writes itself.
I mean, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, and that's not the title of the book. But I think you could. It wouldn't be too hard to do it for most characters. I don't need to know Sonic's backstory to write a bloody great erotic fan fiction.
Sonic fan base is really funny about getting the
Yeah,
details
they will
right.
get really upset if you start.
Well, I'm not expecting it to be a bestseller. It's expected to be critically acclaimed.
I mean, David Cage said good erotic fan fiction. Depends. I don't know what sort of metric we're measuring it on here.
Yeah, good is a problem, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Matt, also, you're talking bollocks there. You can't say I wouldn't, I wouldn't expect it to be a bestseller. I know what your brain's like. If you sit down to write erotic material of a video game character, you will do everything in your power to make it the best erotic material.
No, I said I expect it to be.
Characters.
I mean, I would work so hard that it would be, and I'll do everything I could for it to be, but I wouldn't expect it to be. I mean, if it hit New York Times bestseller list, that's just great. But that's not really what it's about.
Yeah.
Broken Sword? I'm just thinking about all of the point and click adventures that I played that I knew all the broken sword. Oh no, I've broken my sword. Or This World Noir. Probably get away with that, can we?
Mount your friends. Too obvious. It's too obvious.
Anything,
and it wouldn't involve the goat, so don't start. No need to be lowbrow with it. But
freeze.
How would you?
And the number 6 tile walked up to the number 9. Whatever.
What about James for you? What about Typewriter?
Definitely, or either that or the Donkey Kong franchise. It's that'd be another.
Oh my goodness! How many?
Why wouldn't you just go Smash Bros? There's all sorts of combinations that could go on there.
Definitely.
Not that it's not that it's a requirement, but how many female Donkey Kongs are there? Is it just Candy Kong, or is there more?
I have no idea.
Isn't there Granny Kong?
Okay.
No, there's Cranky Kong, but he's a dude.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, there's Cranky Kong. Yeah, but
is there another one?
Yeah.
There's all the Kremlins.
I mean, to be fair, if you want Donkey Kong erotic fan fiction, just look up. What's he called? The surfing one.
Surfing Kong.
What is it?
Funky Kong.
Yeah,
Funky Kong. Yeah, Funky Kong ASMR. It's the whole thing on YouTube.
Harry come up to me the other day and just went, "Dad, who's Funky Kong? Where's that come from? Just who is he?" I was like, "He's this dude with a surfboard in." What a weird question. He must have seen that on a video. I was like, hopefully it's not the ASMR stuff though. Apparently,
it's not actually erotic. It's not. I should say. It's just. It's none of the ones I've listened to are. Right, Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS Copa America commentators, your game design suggestions always stimulate the imagination about the possibilities still left for our hobby, which is why I wanted to ask you about the power removal trope. You start off with your character maxed out only to have the designers play coy and strip all of your perks away during the opening few minutes. Is there any way for overpowered protagonists to not lose their powers at any point while still preserving the game's difficulty balance? It seems equivalent to a film's main story unfolding from a tedious flashback, or like having your presents stolen the day after Christmas. Keep up the perfect podcasting track record."
I mean, to be fair, the whole point in doing that is to change the difficulty for a moment or to challenge you in a new way. So, that's
though? Because
it's also to give you something to shoot for as well, as in this is what you can be. This
exactly. Yeah.
So
you can see
No, wait, you're talking about the opposite.
Wait, what?
Maria Mendieta. Sorry. Have I misunderstood the question? I thought it was talking about the moments where you build up your power and then there's always a level where it takes it all away.
No, I think she means ones where there's an initial bit at the start where you're fully powered and then you lose everything and have to work your way back up through the game.
They do it in Metroid games all the time. Right,
I was going to say, because the Metroid games are the fucking worst for it. Because it's you start the game with everything you got in the previous game and then, oh no, Samus has been hit with a special attack and now she's rubbish again. Let's go
through this again, though. Right, wait. Is there a way for an overpowered protagonist to not lose their powers at any point while still preserving the game's difficulty balance?
Yeah, but then she mentions during the opening few minutes. So I think, because I remember Prototype did this fairly well in that
very well.
Yeah, because it starts at the end. And everything's fucked, and you've got all these powers, and you're just trashing the shit out of everything, and then it's 3 weeks earlier.
Yep,
which
that's me.
Felt like, which sort of again, it just gave you a taste of how powerful you were going to get, and also how fucked everything was going to be. So then it's a really interesting shift to be right, and now here's New York, and everything's still relatively normal, and so are you. But give it 3 weeks, and you know what's going to happen. Yeah, that stuff
works so well, and then you work your way back up to essentially what is the intro, and then you carry on and you go further, and there's another level of excitement. The first bit of excitement is I'm going to work my way back to there, and then the game's carrying on, and I'm going to work even further to see how much more powerful I can become.
Yeah. So I think that's a better way of doing it rather than it just being in real time. No, you've lost everything now.
I do hate those games though that have those levels in the middle of games where you're building up your power that takes them away. It really is. When is that ever good? The only time that I can think of where that works is the Mario Odyssey, when you lose your hat, because then that's trying to challenge you in a different way.
Yeah.
Whereas usually it's just like, oh, this bit's just shit now because I want my powers. What is it doing? Yeah, fucking Destiny did that a lot, didn't it? Well, in this level, you can't use this. Oh, great, brilliant.
Did it? When's Destiny done that?
Destiny did that quite a bit, didn't it? Where it was like you couldn't use like a certain ability, either your grenades or your
the modifiers. So they never like completely take stuff away, but there's modifiers that'll just be like, so like sometimes it'll take the radar off you, and enemies have like much higher melee damage and stuff.
So great.
Which
Thanks.
Yeah.
Speaking of Destiny,
that's a little bit different because it is just modifying rather than completely stripping you of all your stuff again, like it does at the start of Destiny 2.
I was going to say, speaking of Destiny 2, when they say, oh wow, the light's gone, what's going to happen? Oh, end of the first level. Here you go, you're back.
You found a new light.
I still thought that was really enjoyable. Just that first level of Destiny 2. We're like, oh shit,
it is,
I have to properly rebuild.
You can't fucking play it anymore, can you? That's gone.
Can't you?
Yeah, it's in the vault now.
In the vault.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience. Like, this is awesome. And obviously, back to normal.
To be fair.
Like the bit where next level, but still thought it was really well done.
Yeah, like because like Nolan North sort of makes the point. He's like, as a reminder, like if you die, like I can't revive you, and you're sort of thinking, well, obviously it won't actually let me die and like end the game in the first 10 minutes, but also I'm sold enough on this whole thing that I don't want to find out what does happen if I die. It was the illusion of it was like enough. I thought that was nicely done. But again, it's as you say, it's half an hour in. It's like, oh no, there you go, you've got your light back.
Yeah,
and basically you're cracking on as you were. I don't know what the answer is really. I think, there's definitely examples of it being done better. But then, like holding up Prototype as a good example of it. That was the first game in a series. Like, if the second game had carried on with the same character, I don't know how they would have handled that. Don't know.
That's true.
I hope that's not answered your question, Maria.
Yeah. Before we move on, I have queued up some Funky Kong ASMR. Should we listen to a bit?
Oh, please do. It's great.
Because people, they're not going to look for it, so...
No. Chewing gum.
How's it hanging?
Oh, God.
What?
Bodacious.
So, what are you seeing on screen?
Is this the one? Yeah, this is carrying a supportive Funky Kong picture up from the airport, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds like you really had a smoking time.
Right, okay, that's
Dave, what's on the screen?
Fucking good.
What are you
It's
seeing?
just a picture. It's just a picture of Funky Kong at an airport.
There's one bit where
lounge.
he just pauses for ages and he's just chewing gum and he just goes, "Thanks, I love you too." That's just fucking brilliant. I love it.
Have you seen the Simpsons one?
No.
There's one where it just goes like Simpsons ASMR, and you click on it, and it's just someone going, "Dole, dole." Dole. Dole. It's so weird. That world is weird.
Yeah, because I think that was that Funky Kong. I think that was the first one, but then like other people started doing them, and then you're just like, I don't know if this is a joke or not anymore.
It's like flat earthers. Right, okay, let's go for the next question.
MD Kraboffs says, why isn't Power Stone 99 a thing, and could Power Stone work as an online only game?
I've never played a Power Stone.
I don't know, and yes, definitely.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah.
It is mad that there hasn't been a...
Sake of it.
Good shit. How's it not been a remake or something? This would do so well, surely.
I will say, though, are you going through those 99 games where you're saying Tetris, Mario, Pac-Man, Power Stone? Like, there's a little... there's a few more to get to.
Yeah, they're not quite. Power Stone's not quite up there with. Yeah,
no, it's not
in that
there.
sort of.
There was that Bomberman one that came out recently, which I downloaded, but I never got around to actually playing.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Well, cheers.
No, but why haven't they brought Power Stone back? Just a remaster of the first two.
Who actually made it? I can't remember.
I thought you were going to say
Capcom.
who actually cares about it.
Cares, man?
No, it's a Capcom game, but yeah, I don't think anyone cared about it, apart from some very vocal people that get.
Listen, it got a sequel which wasn't as good.
Mm.
But that's not fair. It had some like really amazing ideas for levels, but it was a bit too spread out compared to the first one. Yeah, I'd love a new Power Stone. I don't think it needs the 99 treatment. Just a normal.
That'll work and look really
Power
good on Switch.
Yeah, man. Didn't they? It got a PSP port or a Vita port? I think it's PSP.
Power Stone 2 did, yeah. It got PSP and Dreamcast, so I think we can see why there was never a Power Stone 3.
For a game that we've repeatedly said no one cares about, we have spoken about it for quite a while. Should we should we move on?
Gareth Southgate says, question for Sean, what formation... Oh, sorry.
God, what?
Yeah,
I can't believe he's a listener. It's amazing.
Cheers. Do you reckon they're all listening to it before they go, that's why we're doing so
the squad,
well?
The boys.
They're out there. If they're out
probably
there, we
will
should
spur
give
them on.
Yeah. What formation lineup do you think I should go with against Denmark? I just... it's the old 4-4-2, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, in my time, as a playing FIFA, and basically what you do is if you just knock the difficulty down a little bit, and then you can pretty much just hold the sprint button and just run at the goal and kick it in. It's good.
I think that's what they're going to do anyway.
Yeah, it's a winning strategy. No one thinks to do that. To turn the difficulty down.
Let's not talk about football, though, because I know people are sick of it. We are insanely excited. Yeah, the three of us, Matt, myself and James, insanely excited at the moment, but we understand that it has been non-stop. How is it? I mean, I was going to ask you this on the bonus show this month, actually, but how are you holding up around all this? Are you all right? You're avoiding it enough?
Honestly, I mean, especially because of the way things are at the moment, I'm not really even having to avoid it.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
It's all right. It's fine. I think, obviously, if I was in the office, it would be a thing. But no.
But you're not an actor, so
no.
Well, that was weak. Right, go on. Should we read the next one?
Last one is from Keith Kettle. He says, "Did you see Kane's bloody volley? How did that not go in?"
Oh, I know. I had a row with my dad. Oh, we said we weren't going to talk about football, but I had a row with my dad the other day because he said if that had gone in, that would have been the best goal of the tournament. And I went, well, hold on. How about the one scored against Scotland from the halfway line? He went, nah, that was hit and hope. That was lucky. That could have gone anywhere. You know what I mean? I said, yeah, but it curled in beautifully. That's the whole point. Yeah, but, it could have gone anywhere. Kane's volley. I was like, well, that could have gone anywhere.
I was going to say, it could have gone anywhere, but it went into the goal.
Into the goal. Kane's was saved. But yeah, that would have been an absolutely incredible moment if that goal had gone in. But it didn't. So we'll never think of it ever again.
But using James' logic, it did. So
go on.
I just the whole thing earlier about if we just imagine something happens, even though it actually didn't.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same as if it actually happened. So
good point. Good point. What a hat trick from Keane.
Doesn't work, but yeah, go on.
Okay, all right, written off there. Matt. Let's get to the socials. If you don't need to say anything, do you, at the end of your segment, do you, Sean? I've forgotten how the show works.
I mean, I could say, I don't know, what, cheers for the questions. Hope you're all doing good.
Let's get to the socials.
Okay, are you guys playing Operation Tango or what?
We absolutely are, aren't we, James?
Yeah, we're going to be on Thursday night, 9:00.
Be there.
Thursday.
Cool.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're doing it Thursday, yeah.
Topsy-turvy land.
That's when I'm allowed to, do that. So, Thursday.
Okay, nice. Well, this Thursday, 9 p.m, James and David are playing Operation Tango on twitch.tv/TCGSCO. Or if you're another streamer, TGCCGSCO. There you go.
That's our names, don't wear it out.
Have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime Gaming, and you get one free sub every single month, as we say, and we really massively appreciate it if you go over to our channel and give us your free sub, especially maybe on Thursday when David and James are streaming. It's nice to get that when we're live, you know what I mean?
You're there anyway. You're there. Just press that button.
Connect your accounts, that doesn't cost you a penny. It's Bezos would hate it. That is it for Twitch. Yeah, and if you miss them live, all the streams we do are on our YouTube channel. Just search for TCGS on YouTube. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. We're doing July's bonus show will probably be up on next week or so. And we'll do talks over as well in the coming weeks. And tcgs.co is the website where you can get merch. And there's a link to our beautiful Discord as well.
You know, I know that your life can be a bummer sometimes. And you have to deal with major dweebs at work. So I'm glad that you could get out and take a sweet vacay.
A sweet vacay.
It's so good. It's so good.
We will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. Take it easy out there. We love you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bodacious.